What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Roundtable. I titled this um, in such a way that makes it sound like it's going to be very structured, like we're talking about one thing and that's it. I just really needed a title, so I put that in there. Be talking about whatever, and we're largely going to be leaning on your comments. But in the meantime, while you guys slowly filter in and figure out what you want to talk about, we are going to start with the schedule because that just got released. I've talked about it. Clayton's talked about it. We've all had time to think about it. So might as well just kick it off with Week 1, the Minnesota Vikings. Clayton, I just got done listening to your. By the way, I was gonna message you in the Discord, and I haven't done it yet. But when I heard when you said fairies and then paused, I lost it, man. That was hilarious.
I'm trying to read it. I'm trying to read it in real time. I'm like, that's got to be a typo, right?
Well, that's not very masculine. That was hilarious. But might as well start with you. You had us Week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings not coming out victorious. I'm wondering if you can expand a little bit because you didn't spend a lot of time really expanding, but just kind of expand on Week 1 and what you think maybe some of the struggles there are going to be.
I think it's low hanging fruit. But the reason that I kind of looked at that at first glance, and again, I haven't had a chance to really dive in. That pick may change, but just right off the bat, I think of last year. I think of how the Packers have started slow, and we all as fans, we were constantly talking about, well, I guess we didn't need preseason, did we? Everybody goes to that. I'm as guilty as anyone. So when I look at that Week 1, it's like historically under the Matt LaFleur regime, we start slow in Week 1. It's on the road in Minnesota. I don't know. It kind of did they not bolster their edge rush as well? Am I thinking right? Didn't they add someone else?
The Vikings?
They may have found someone.
The Vikings have Za'Darius.
They got Za'Darius.
Yeah. They added Za'Darius, and who's opposite Za'Darius? Is it
Danielle Hunter?
Yeah. Danielle Hunter. Okay, cool. That's one of the things that was creeping in my mind too, because it's okay. Elton's probably not going to be ready for Week 1, right? And you've got Bakhtiari. And the four big things for me when it comes to picking wins and losses is head coach, quarterback, edge defenders, edge protection. Those are the four things that I take the most, So when I look at LaFleur's team starting slow, and then on top of that, us being without Elton, who's going to be playing right tackle, I don't know. It was just easy to look at that and go, man, I could see us starting 0-1 again. I don't think it's indicative of how the season's going to go. I still have them just at first glance winning 13 games. But at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of caught my attention there a little bit.
So, JJ, I haven't heard your thoughts quite yet as far as the schedule and whatnot. What do you think about Week 1 in particular?
Well, the big edge that the Packers do have over the Vikings is that you're going up against a rookie head coach over there. And although the Packers do have a lot of young players, I think they have enough established vets that they should still, I think on paper have the advantage over the Vikings. Whether they can put it together and execute, I think is going to come down to how they approach this off season and the preseason. But I would be a little bit surprised if they don't learn something from how the Saints game went last year. Learn a lesson there.
Jacob, first of all, how's your cat doing? I'm pretty sure I just saw him fall to death. But beyond that, what do you think about the Minnesota Vikings?
I did real good for not cursing either because he grabbed my leg while he jumped down and stabbed me with his claws. Yeah, I've not talked to Clayton whatsoever about this, even though that's kind of what we're supposed to do Sunday. I said that the Vikings would, same thing. I thought that we might take an early loss kind of for the similar reasons. I think that Za'Darius is going to be pumped up, kind of the same thing. If we're missing a tackle, that's not great. In addition to that, they've got Chandon. They signed Jordan Hicks. I just feel like Minnesota they always seem like they get real hyped and they do like real well for certain pockets in the season. And I think starting against the Packers is one of those things where they're just going to be super jacked. They're going to be really hyped. They're going to be talking trash. They've got guys that they drafted where like the Packers seem to draft guys and we sit on them for at least a year. They seem to throw them out there and be like, show us what you got right away. So I feel like they're going to use Ceen. They're going to use Booth. I feel like they might even use Naylor, and he might come out of left field as another wide receiver that they picked up that could end up being a sneaky guy. So for that reason, I had 3 scenarios. I did a worst case scenario for the season, which my win loss, the best case scenario, and then what I think is most likely. So in the most likely scenario, we do not lose this game. In the worst case scenario, we do. In the best case, obviously, we don't. So that's where I'm at. Covering all my bases.
And I think we all probably agree that the Packers are the better team and do have the better roster. It's just a matter of what we're getting week
Your
one.
dog just say Roadhouse, Clayton?
that's in his house. That's just a common
the
dog, his wife, just Roadhouse from the bathroom.
Sorry about that. Everybody's picking the Vikings, and Nitschke went crazy in here. Sorry about that.
I'm not picking the Vikings. I'm not picking the Vikings, Clayton. Just FYI.
All right.
I'm picking the Packers. Even though they did come out so flat last year, we got to remember it was a brand new defense. None of these guys were used to what they had been doing, and Rodgers was AWOL for the whole most of the offseason. And I'm just looking at what the Vikings do well and where the Packers' weaknesses are, and it doesn't line up great for the Vikings. If you're trying to take advantage of the fact that we don't really have established receivers, one of the biggest weaknesses that the Vikings have is a really crappy secondary. Mm-hmm. I just don't know that they are equipped to take advantage of potential shortfalls that the Packers have.
And if you just look at the matchups too, because if you think about it, it's are the Packers going to come out a little bit slow? If you think about it in phases, I think the Packers defense is going to come out hot. I think they're just a fired up unit. I think they're going to come out real strong. Shut up, Jacob. Don't look at me like that. You know what I mean? Fired up, not like that kind of hot. Anyways,
Roadhouse.
Yeah, that super weird look on his face. But then, like you said, it's just going to be a matter of, all right, Packers offense, are they coming out ready to play, or are they going to be a little bit flat-footed? Because if they're ready to play, I think they decimate the Vikings defense, especially with that secondary.
I will say this, Ryan, if I heard correctly too on the McAfee show, the early odds has the Lions with better odds than the Vikings that was the Bears. I apologize. They have the Lions with a higher win total than the Bears right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, no, I absolutely can. I think they're a better team than the Bears, which is awesome because that's what we're talking about next. And I'm just looking forward to taking just a couple minutes to talk about how much this team absolutely sucks. But week 2, Chicago Bears. Raise your hand if you think the Bears have any chance in the world of winning this football game.
Of winning any game the whole season, or winning this game in particular?
Specifically week 2.
Only if Equanimeous is starting for them.
That's true. That is the secret weapon. I've heard from Bears fans that this guy is a true number 1 X receiver. He's the secret sauce.
You guys saw that Facebook post, right? The
I did see that.
I don't know.
It took me 2 seconds to pull together screenshots of. I can probably just pull it up and read
see if you can find it. But basically, no, they legitimately. Maybe if it was one person or what, but they're starting to hype up. Oh my! You got to be kidding me. They're starting to hype up Equanimeous St. Brown as a real, actually number 1 receiver.
Here,
so I
found it.
That's how bad things are getting. All right. Well, while this guy's trying to figure it out, let's bring up your screen if you can bring it up.
Oh yeah, I could probably.
Yeah, just share your screen and we'll bring it up. The Bears are so absolutely pathetic that they're actually starting to do stuff like this. Oh, there he is.
I was trying to think of who HML could be, and then it hit me.
It is the half Mexican lawyer.
Come on, guys. Hey, I got to take this. My draft board down.
All right. A lot of Bears fans wanted polls to draft George Pickens or Alec Pierce because they wanted a tall, big, fast X-wide receiver whose opposite body type of Darnell Mooney. Well, guess what? Bears already has that guy on the roster. His name is Equanimeous St. Brown, 6'5", 214 pounds, runs a 4.48 40. Wow, that's blazing fast. Was a beast in Notre Dame coming out of college, went to the Packers and got frozen out by an egotistical narcissist diva QB, Rodgers, who refused to throw him the ball. If you had a QB who didn't like you personally for no reason, who refused to throw you the ball, your numbers would suffer too. New home, new QB. Now he can flourish. Meet your new Chicago Bears starting X wide receiver.
So stupid.
This guy, Equimenius St. Brown. This sounds like something.
God.
He's got 147 likes.
And that wasn't even a typo. He said Equimenius twice. That's what he thinks his name
Three
is.
times. Three times. Well, actually, this might be a different person here. But then, so I just real quickly just pulled together like, okay, did Rodgers actually dislike EQ? Here's a bunch of
sorry, wrong
here's
one.
a bunch of screenshots of times when Rodgers was hyping up EQ or had his back or whatever. Took 2 seconds.
He said the Bears has. Is that what that says?
He said Bears has. Yeah,
sounds like my Uncle Bill back in Kentucky trying to speak English. It's horrible. He's got like 3 teeth in his head.
Well, guess what? Bears already has that guy on their roster. Equimenius.
I love it.
Alex
Watch out,
Strauss
boys.
says, I love DQ, but that's wild. That is wild. But hey, the one St. Brown, he's ripping it. Maybe he's just a late bloomer brother. Isn't he the older brother, though?
He is.
You
I
know,
think there's 3 of them too, aren't there?
There is 3 of them, and they all have wild names.
What wasn't their dad like Mr. Universe or something?
He was, yeah. He was super jacked.
He was juiced up, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
be honest, he was juiced.
That's well, they all are. It's all right. He still works for
I
it.
got the other kid's name. Here we go. So the third kid is Osiris. So you got Equinemius, Amun-Ra, and Osiris. 3 brothers.
It's pretty awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie; those are pretty cool names.
What is that?
But
Is that like-
here's the interesting thing. So all 3, their last name is all St. Brown. Their parents' last name is just Brown.
Yeah, I forget the reasoning behind that.
It's not like somebody needs to put the pipe down in the St. Brown house. I'm just being honest. Like,
It is kind of funny too, because Nicola's talking about Valus Jones. They just drafted a guy, and who are they hyping up? Equinemius St. Frickin' Brown. they don't even want to talk about Valus Jones possibly being a good wide receiver. They're not even going to try.
The theory that the new management does not like who's the Fields, the catfish looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they went Gordon, then Brisker, then like their best offensive weapon is Valus Jones. Like you said, what is he, like a 26-year-old special teams guy? It's cool.
Yeah, they were celebrating his birthday, and it was like, oof.
And they released Foles. They officially released the best quarterback on their roster. So
Yeah.
The best quarterback they've ever had. What the heck is Blaine eating? Is that oranges?
I don't know.
He's not allowed on the stream.
Oh, chicken
food,
wings.
I don't think.
Chicken
Yeah.
wings. It looked like orange slices.
I like how he takes a bite. Everybody takes. He goes.
You guys seeing this or what?
great.
Yeah, no, they so the Bears
snacks on here.
they kind of did a little damage control on that too, because they came out and were like, oh no, we love him, he's our guy and everything, but obviously they refused to commit to him whatsoever. They didn't want to build around him. They're trying to build their way the same way the Lions did. We're going to get some offensive and defensive line. If this guy thrives, great. If not, we're going to move on. They have no interest in fighting for somebody else's draft pick. So I think that guy's going to just flounder out there.
How did the Bears do in the draft for line?
That's the
They
thing.
took,
Is I don't
they
think
took
they even
3 guards or something, but late. Like fourth
Yeah.
round and later.
They got Braxton
So they're like,
Jones.
we're the Green Bay Packers for sure.
Fifth round, they got Braxton Jones was their first guy, and then 6th round Zach Thomas, and then they got center Doug Kramer also in the 6th round.
I love the idea that maybe they really liked Zach Tom, and then they're looking at the draft and like, he's still here. Yes, yes, steal Zach Tom. I thought he went to Wake Forest. No matter, draft him.
That was like back in the day when you traded Adrian Peterson, and it was the other Adrian Peterson, and you, you trade him for somebody else.
Or like that cornerback Lamar Jackson.
Right. Yeah. So we haven't even really discussed it seriously. There is a week 2 game against the Bears. I don't know if anybody's like, are we going to do that or?
Generous if they give us a bye week that early.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
I am looking forward to it though. If we could play the Bears 17 weeks a year, I would do that in a heartbeat. I love playing the Bears.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing too is that
Sunday Night Football is going to be awesome, man, for sure. Just blow
the Vikings is a pretty good test. So the defense is going to have to kind of get their stuff together pretty quick. So they're going to be ramped up to 10, and then they get the Bears. And it's just it's like when you put weights on your bat and you're swinging it, and then you take the weights off and you just crush the baseball. That's what we're going to do to the Bears. It's going to be amazing.
So when do we play the Vikings?
Week 1.
Week 1.
I just saw
Kirk.
All right. Anyways. When do we play?
I just saw
Blaine.
a highlight
Dude,
hype video.
You guys got to be nice to me. I have COVID, so leave me alone.
He does.
We can tell you're suffering very deeply.
He's struggling.
I can't barely even taste these wings, guys.
Dude, yeah, I got so much sauce on these wings, dude. My wife actually lost her sense of smell today.
I love how you're like, now I can pass gas all night. No problem.
Okay, my wife had COVID, and it was so nice because I didn't have to leave the room anymore when I had gas. I was just and she'd get offended for a second. I'd be like, "Why do you care?" And she'd be like, "That's a valid point, actually. Go ahead."
Yeah. I mean, with mine, I think she'd be able to tell with like the thickness of the air, but
Her eyes start watering, and she's not sure why.
What is happening right now?
what's going on?
You turn on the
Body's
humidifier?
having
Why is it
some
so
sort of
thick in here?
visceral
Foggy. All right. Jesus.
I do like that
Anybody
Blaine
have any
moved
other
on to
thoughts
pizza,
on the
by the way,
Bears?
too.
This is amazing. Hang on, I just found a quote. This is from Ryan Poles.
Oh, good.
He's defending the Velus Jones pick. I guess maybe this is out of context, but it looks like he's defending the Velus Jones pick. He said, "It's funny because there was a lot of panic, like you need receivers. But Devontae Adams was taken in the 2nd round, right? So there's talent there." This is his justification for drafting Velus Jones. I really wonder if this is taken out of context. Because
But did they not get him in
if
the
it's
second?
not, it's hilarious. They took Velus in the
He's a
3rd
third-round pick.
Yeah.
Does he not know where he drafted the guy?
That's not the same. Those two things aren't the same.
Devontae Adams is a 2nd-round pick. Why can't I draft a 26-year-old
like-
punt returner in the 3rd round? Come on, guys.
Same thing. What do you-
Valdez Scantling and Devontae Adams. Think about it.
Have you heard of Megatron, stupid? Anyways, next question.
Plus, I didn't realize that's a
Excuse me,
night
we
game.
got Darnell Mooney in the 5th round.
Yeah.
World
So-
star.
Worst question ever.
That's a night game, though. It'll be nice. We seem to embarrass them thoroughly.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
I feel like at this point we're just procrastinating talking about the Buccaneers game because we don't want to.
Well, that's a good question
exactly
by
what it
Alex.
is.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Alex says, do you think Watson at 34 kept the Bears from being able to take that true X prospect?
It's kind of a domino effect. That could be.
I mean, they
So-
did pass on George Pickens, though.
That's so
Didn't
weird.
Let's see what happened here. So after we took scrolling, Christian Watson, then the next wide receiver. No, the Bears were the next pick. So I mean,
coulda
unless
gotten
that was the
Tyke.
guy they wanted.
They could have got Tyquan Thornton before. No, they couldn't have because Patriots snagged him in the 2nd, didn't they?
That was wild. Crazy that he went that early.
Yeah.
Dude, the
And
Patriots' whole draft was kind of like, who's drunk? Like, it was
Yeah.
weird.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past Bill. I'm telling
No,
you. That dude,
no.
yeah.
Taking Cole Strange in the 1st round, though,
I mean, but
nobody
it's-
had him as.
But that's
There's
what
a-
people must think about us. They're just like, all right, what's going to happen, boys? What's going to happen? There it is.
We did take a
There's first pick.
linebacker. I mean,
I
was
guarantee those other GMs were laughing when we took Quay Walker that early. There were a lot of teams like you. They did it again. Those idiots. I guarantee it.
There was a conversation, I guess, between two GMs that was overheard and reported on, and they were talking about the wide receivers the Patriots have drafted over for the last few years, and one of the GMs said, if you look at the wide receivers they've taken, it's like the opposite of every Steelers draft. He's like, you look at the Steelers take these wide receivers that pan out every single time. And then the Patriots, it's the anti-Steelers wide receiver draft.
Yeah, I do know that Greg Cosell was very, very high on Thornton, though. I did have him on the short list of the receivers that were mentioned by Greg Cosell. I don't know, man. The Patriots, they said that when they drafted Logan Mankins, it was the same type of chatter. And, them taking Cole Strange, it's like, you watch. He'll pan out. He'll work out.
just to be clear, we kind of bounced over the Buccaneers, so we should probably go back.
Yeah, I don't want.
We just
they don't
yeah
have to.
we haven't even gotten there yet. But yeah, the Bucks are next. I guess we'll just assume the Bears is a win. That was fun. Buccaneers
Okay.
week 3. Blaine, since you haven't really jumped in yet, how you feeling about that, man?
So who do they play week 3?
I
I'm
swear.
sorry. I'm watching basketball. What's going on, guys?
So
No,
am I.
no. I mean, are they still good? I don't know. They have Tom Brady, and he sold his soul. So
Yeah.
what are you
That's
gonna do? You
That's
know,
the
like
biggest factor.
he's gonna give them 50-50 no matter what happens. And then if their defense is playing well, it depends if ours does. I guess this is what it comes down. We have a lot of unknowns because like our defense came out so strong, or it was looking pretty good last year. I think it was better the year before, but now we like bolstered it with people we didn't exactly need, but can slide in and play. So Tampa, I don't know. COVID tells me
This is why we don't talk football with Blaine, by the way.
we drop it by 3. What do you thought, dude? I have insightful, good ideas, but for Tampa, I don't know. I hate playing Tom Brady. It makes me sad. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. There's a good chance we lose.
When
Good
we
chance.
got our butts kicked in like week 6 or whatever of 2020, which just I don't think any of us saw coming. It just was out of left field at the time. Especially like the game started well. We were like 8-0 or 11-0 or something to start the day, and then what happened. And my Steelers buddy texted me, and he's like, yeah, so that's just a Tom Brady game. It just happens sometimes. Don't beat yourself up over it.
And then when we played him in the playoffs, it's not like he did well. Like, yeah, he
No.
closed the game out and whatever, but like he should have been picked off
we
like
just
5
sucked.
times. Like
I think he was picked off 3 or 4 times.
he was picked off 3
No, he
times. I
was.
think
Yeah,
it should have been 5 or
so.
6. COVID, the magic 8-ball. All right, let's. We need to have like a COVID tracker, and I'm just gonna make guesses on the game on the season. The COVID 8-ball.
That, or we should just actually get you a magic 8-ball. That would be kind of fun.
Ooh.
Hey, I'll say it. I think that the Packers beat the Bucks in Tampa by 2 touchdowns. I really think.
Okay.
I think this is the
Statement.
year. I think this is the year that Tom Brady starts to slope off. There's no Gronk. I don't care what anybody says. Dude, Gronk made a world of difference for Brady. Yeah, I think they go down there and take care of business. But
So you think he's got his eyes on the Fox prize, and he
I
just
think-
loses
I think
focus.
Dude, that money is crazy.
Dude, everybody's crazy.
I think it's probably a little bit of it, but their offensive line got weaker. And I don't know if you guys remember that Saints game late in the season, but he
Yeah.
got beat to death. And that
Did
was
they-
with a better offensive line. So, and now you've got no Bruce Arians, right? That may be a good thing. I don't know. I have a hard time believing a guy who's been in the league that long and coached so many great quarterbacks is going to make a team better with him stepping down. But I don't know, man. Brady had one foot out. It's pretty much common knowledge now that the Miami story was true. He was trying to weasel his way into Miami. That fell through with all their ignorance that went on down there with Ross, their owner. But I don't know. I don't see it, man. I really don't. I think that Tampa Bay takes a step back this year. I think they could definitely still be a playoff team, but I don't see them as one of those top 3 teams in the NFC. I really don't.
Well, the big storyline is going to be Aaron Rodgers can't play in Florida. That's going to be the big thing that we hear every single year is that Rodgers goes to Florida and he sucks. And I'm not going to want to hear it, but I'm going to hear it. And I'm not even going to fight it that hard because there's a very good chance we go there and lose. And I don't want to spend a whole week talking about you bunch of idiots don't know what you're talking about. And then we go to lose and I get scorched for a week trying to defend the guy based on stats. I'm not even going to bother. So I'm just going to leave it alone and say, you know what? You're right. He can't play in Florida and hope that he proves everybody wrong.
He has a hard time in California and Florida.
Yeah.
Cali's tough, yeah.
Yeah. And with girls. Hard time.
California girl.
So
Really?
tell me,
Yeah.
is Shailene Woodley, is that over now? Is that
Yeah.
I don't
done?
think so.
Nobody
Oh,
has
but I
any
think-
idea.
I think the wedding is over, but I keep seeing them
No,
together.
I saw
places.
one of those tabloidy type things saying like, now that it's officially over, Shailene Woodley talks about her post breakup depression, and it was very intense. So I think it's over, Clayton.
I think it's over too, man. I do. I think he
Yeah.
got tired of her walking around for 2 weeks without showering. and he's tired of walking around with greasy hair himself. I think he's going to start cleaning back up. and
People
all that.
Magazine on April 26th says
That was
Aaron
the one I
Rodgers,
read.
Shailene Woodley break up again.
Break
Yeah.
up again. Okay,
Again?
I missed that
That's
one.
Not
I guess.
official unless you do it 3 or
It's-
4 times.
I was gonna say because they broke
Yeah,
up, and
they're
I'm like, oh, it's
celebrities.
over. And then they were in
Yeah.
Florida together, like going to
Hey,
Disney World, and I'm like,
At least she
okay,
didn't poop in his bed.
well, that we know of.
We know.
We haven't seen the trial yet.
Although, what did that Chappie Capybara thing? He probably pooped in his own bed. Let's be honest. He probably pooped in multiple times.
Oh, there are 9 people watching this. What are you guys doing?
Oh,
Isn't there a
sorry,
basketball
guys.
game on or
It
something?
is a Friday night, and you nerds are all willingly here.
And the Bucks are playing right now. Too.
I'm mostly
She'll
speaking to
watch
the
after.
people on video talking right now.
Yeah. No, it's
Ooh.
fine.
I'm quarantined. I can't.
It's
Probably
it's
his-
raining outside, Blaine. All right, it's
Probably
It
raining.
is
his wife-
literally not.
Like, yeah, you tested
is
positive
raining
again for
outside.
COVID. That's crazy. Going on in the basement.
Maybe in whatever
Just
bum
hasn't hit
part-
you yet.
bumpkin
west
part
of
of
you.
Wisconsin you live
Shut
in.
up. Who's next on the schedule here? We got the New England Patriots at home Sunday, the 2nd
'em.
at 3:25. Any
Dude,
thoughts
325 games.
on the Patriots?
There's a lot of them.
I'm a big fan of 325 games, if I'm being
Me
honest
too.
with you.
Actually, I'm not.
Yeah,
Those
No?
are
I
my
like
least
it.
favorite.
Dude, you're like, dude, I love them. Actually, I hate
I
them.
thought you were gonna say noon games. I was ready to
They're the
go
worst
because
game.
you can wake up and you get your morning planned. I get really anxious. So if the longer I
Oh,
have to wait
yeah.
for the game, the worse the day is for me.
I hate the noon games because I have church Sunday mornings, and then every time we have a noon game, every single time, the wife and her family make lunch plans.
Yep.
We're all gonna go out to lunch.
How dare they?
Oh, I just wouldn't go.
Can you just
No. I mean that wouldn't even be a question. We're going to lunch. Like, oh, have fun.
See,
We're driving
that's-
separate to church, I guess. But
Man.
my wife would know better. She would not even.
I have one
offer.
reason that the Patriots will definitely beat us. Apparently, they signed Ty Montgomery recently. So,
Oh,
did they actually?
yeah, they did. I don't know why, but they did it on purpose.
Was anybody else hyped up for Ty Montgomery? Because
I was so jacked.
I was like, oh yeah, dude, this guy's gonna be a weapon.
Didn't he end his career by taking out a kick that he was told specifically not to take out and then fumbled it and then got mad at everyone and said, like, screw you, I'm going home.
Well,
and then got
that's
fired.
that's
Yeah,
like
right.
40% accurate.
That was it. Yeah. That was it for
That's
him.
And then, did he sign with like Dallas or something random?
Signed with
He's
the
been all over the
Ravens,
place.
Ravens,
Saints.
Dallas,
Saints.
Saints.
It was Saints.
The Saints. His explanation for why he brought it out is that he said, because he caught it like right at the goal line, and his explanation was he thought that his foot was that he wasn't actually in the end zone all the way or whatever, and so that it was going to be down at like the 1-inch line. So he thought it'd be better to just take it back in the heat of the moment.
I'm 85% sure that's not true. He just was making an excuse for why he did it. He really thought he was going to break one and try to win the game.
Yeah,
There's that he's covering his own.
yeah. I'll never
Man.
forget Aaron Rodgers
That's
just
right.
standing there with his helmet on. Just
He got traded the next week.
I
Dominic
guess
K.
I guess I
remember
don't
that.
get to go try to win this game.
He did
Joe-
get traded the next week, but that was also like Goody was looking for any excuse to ship off vets. I mean, anything like, oh, you look at me wrong, you're out of here because he was
That's
trying
a
to
good-
tank.
That was the year Haha got shipped, right?
Right, yeah. Sent him to Washington for like a conditional 7th or something.
What? No, we got something decent for Haha.
Wasn't. I don't know what it is. We'll see. I'm
It
looking it up.
was. I thought it was. I remember being pretty shocked. I thought it was like a 4th or something crazy.
Yeah, that was
we
like a
got for
fourth for like a week 6 trade 1
It-
year deal.
It is a 4th. You're right.
Yeah, I remember
Which-
being like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking to me.
Yeah, I remember
Just-
listening to your podcast, Ryan, and you going on a rant because the Bears fans, when the Bears signed HaHa, and it was like, oh no, HaHa's gonna, he's gonna just tear it up in Chicago, and I'll never forget that rant. Like I remember what I was doing that day and everything, and you going off about it because I was a big HaHa fan. I was like, this guy's from Bama, it's gonna be a good pick, and it just never panned out. But I do remember that when they picked him up. I believe it was the very first year that because HaHa did sign with Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
next
yeah.
year.
Yeah, the very next year. And I remember even
It did
having a little
nothing.
bit of anxiety, like, watch this guy go over there and ball out. This is gonna suck. And you calmed me down. You walked me off the ledge, Ryan. So
Well, and I was a big haha fan too, as far as I thought Packer fans were way too hard on him. I mean, he did take some plays off and everything else, but he wasn't as bad as people made him out to be. But as soon as he went to the Bears and Bears fans started saying he's better than Amos, he's going to be great, he's going to be all this, I'm like, all right, you bunch of complete idiots. You don't have any. And they were being even more harsh on Amos than we were on haha. And that
Right.
dude has always been a stud. And
Yeah,
I wanted him here real bad. And
Ryan's been an Amos truther from the
I love
beginning.
Amos.
He
Yeah.
is just like from the very beginning. He's like consistency. That's all he is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He can be as good as he can play. Otherwise, he's just going to be good.
he just
By the
also
way-
happens to be consistently top 10. So
Yeah.
Are you guys curious what we did with that draft pick?
yeah, let's hear it.
oh god, I don't
We
wanna know.
used it to trade up to get Jordan Love.
Oh,
Almost.
Uh-huh.
Almost. We traded both of our 4th round picks that year to move up for Darnell Savage. We moved up from 30 to 21. That's where we took Savage.
There we go.
I'm fine with that.
God, I hope he rebounds this year, man. I want Savage to do good so bad.
Yeah.
He really was not that bad. I mean, like, I'm not
Man.
saying he was great, but he was not as bad as people are saying.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Ryan, you were talking about that the other day, Ryan, right? Was it SIS?
didn't Sam say that?
Sam has been really banging the drum on him being quite good. I my whole thing with that is I think it's very visible when he's bad, especially that Ravens game. He got so tore up, and I think Packer fans or fans in general, when you can see it like that bad, it gets burned into your head. Good stuff you don't see. He's what he's doing. He's covering this so the quarterback. He's looking up. That's not open, and he's got to go. And the play's dead from there. We don't know that was Savage that blew up that play and got us that sack. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. That I think he does really well. So it's
And my
the
feelings are
non-visual.
mine are mainly based off of PFF's grade,
Yeah.
going off of that and saying, yeah, because he did. What was it, 2 years ago? Was he in the 80s? Am I thinking right? He graded out like an 80?
70s, I think.
Yes, like upper 70s or something. Anyway, yeah, I was a little surprised to see how low that score was when I recapped it at the end of the year, but at the same time, it was just, I don't know, man. You talk about a first round pick. It's just I don't think anybody can look at that and go, that was a good first round pick, at least at this point.
Right.
Hopefully he turns it around.
75 was his grade in 2020. That was his high.
That was his high, 70 what?
75.
Yeah. And he took a step back this past year. But also PFF's grades I've learned are really slanted consistency. So if you're inconsistent, it's going to be a pretty bad grade, and he's wildly inconsistent, and I think that is kind of the issue. I mean, his good is good, but his bad is also real bad. So he's not going to grade out well until he cleans that up.
Yeah. I feel like you like can't make up ground for a bad game on PFF.
You really can't. I'm looking at how he graded out over the course of the year, and that Baltimore game was easily his worst. It really wasn't close. The other game where he wasn't great was Cincinnati, but he had an 85 tackling grade in that game.
Right.
But really, that Baltimore game, 39, is really what dragged his season down so bad.
And I think the biggest reason for that, too, if you think about their grading scale, is it's like a 2-point scale. So, I mean, you can have a game-winning 100-yard interception, and you got 2 points. The same as if you got a pass deflection for 2 points. I mean, there's no like massive scale where if like you had 2 amazing plays, it's no different than just these really good plays. So I think that's where it's better to be consistent, because that amazing play is going to get negated by like 2 bad plays, even though it's nowhere close. I mean, two completions for -1 and then 1 game-winning interception, which is 2 points, cancels each other out, and it shouldn't. But that's where PFF is more about consistency than big plays.
Well,
Okay,
I think that's where Campbell graded out so high is that
Exactly.
it's like the stops, where it's just like, yeah, he did it all the time. Like it'd be like 3rd and 2, he knocked a guy down, and it's like 90, boom,
Right.
And it's just
the guy he just
he did it all the time.
tackles. He doesn't do anything wrong. And then you got the corner out in Dallas, Diggs. That dude had like 50 interceptions. He didn't grade out very well.
No, yeah.
Because all he did was get interceptions. He didn't do
He's
anything
a terrible
else.
player.
Right, exactly. But that's the thing. He's a big play guy, so everybody says this is the greatest corner in football by far. And it's like, well, outside of the picks, the guy sucks. Oh, no,
I'll give you my way too early bold prediction for the defense this year. I think the safeties are going to be better over the course of the season than the cornerbacks.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's largely going to depend on Savage, but Quay's part of that equation as far as taking a little bit off their plate. But also, I think the corners maybe are a little more overhyped. Jair's probably hyped more than what he's going to produce, and then Rasul, I think, is probably going to have a slightly less good year than last year because it's nearly impossible for him to do what he did last year.
I'm really just hoping we all are like, oh yeah, dude, I forgot Jair's really good at football, man.
That'd be
all.
nice.
That's all I want out of my hopes and expectations for next year. It's that like Jair is as good as we all remember him being, and everyone's like, oh yeah, wow, because where he flies around the field just murdering everybody and like making pass breakups and being a lockdown corner, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the Charles Woodson reincarnated is just what we're looking for. It's so much to ask and impossible, but
Jair and Tunyon are two guys who were like not having good years last year before their season-ending injuries, and the injuries came relatively early-ish. So we never really got to see if they were going to put it together and finish strong or not.
Yeah.
Real quick, one thing about the Patriots, I read that, has anybody else heard this, that they have a competition right now at offensive coordinator to see who's going to win the job. And I don't know how that's a thing and how you do that.
For which team is that?
The Patriots.
Oh, okay. That for some reason that doesn't surprise me. That's such a weird organization over there.
I thought that dude was never gonna leave. Didn't he get like 1 million job offers and he just like never left? Where did he end up going?
Well, he's with the Raiders now, but he's had what, he was with Denver and he sucked, and then he got the job with Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
So then he got the job with the Colts and reneged at the last second and left him just scrambling to find a head coach.
Yeah, that screwed him pretty hard.
And that was by plan too, because it was a big laughing thing on the Patriots podcast, especially with it's called Patriots Unfiltered, and the reason being is the Colts are the ones who started the whole Deflategate issue, so that was kind of a way for the Patriots to stick it to the Colts. So if you guys remember, they're the ones who complained, and then the next week they played the Ravens and everything. All the beans got spilled. But as far as the offensive coordinator thing, I really believe this is Belichick playing chess. If let's say what's his name? Joe Judge is calling the plays, right? Okay, but he's not the offensive coordinator. Let's say he's quarterback coach or whatever it is. And a team comes up and offers him an offensive coordinator position. Well, Belichick can keep him by promoting him to offensive coordinator. So because you don't have that lateral hire or whatever. So you cannot prevent a coach from going to the next position, from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator. Let's say our quarterback coach gets offered an offensive coordinator job, but we have a chance to match that and make him the offensive coordinator. Right now, there's a little bit of iffiness to the timing of it and whether you got to do it before they get the offer and this and that. But I think that's what Belichick's doing. It's the same thing with defensive coordinator. He's had Gerard Mayo for some time, but they in the past they've kind of done the same thing with the coordinator position on defense because Bill calls the defense supposedly, but actually it's Stephen Belichick calling the plays, which now it's Gerard Mayo. They just have this little weird rotation going on. I think it's Bill trying to keep guys in house, to be honest.
So what's Patricia doing? I thought Patricia was.
He is their senior football advisor right now.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
It's another example
role
right there. It's another example. And if you guys remember when Nick Caserio, when he went to Houston, they actually recruited Nick Caserio to be their GM in Houston, and Belichick blocked that year. So they had to wait a whole another cycle before they could even hire him as the GM in Houston. He's just notorious for that. And I think that, it doesn't really have anything to do with pay. Robert Kraft's going to open the checkbook for whatever Bill wants as far as the coaching staff. So they're paying those guys great. It's just they're utilizing the rules. The same thing Belichick's always done. He's always playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. I love the dude. I love everything he represents, to be honest with you. I love the fact that he bends the rules.
You're going to get booted off here real quick by Ryan. I know.
Yeah,
better than the phrase
I'm torn on
Belichick
that because I absolutely
Brian's
hate
show.
them with a passion, but it's also it's same with Tom Brady. I've hated that guy for so long, but it's kind of the point now where it's like, how can you say anything other than like, fine, you're the GOAT? Like I can't say anything anymore. You won 50 Super Bowls.
Right.
I can't
I feel
even
like-
argue it
I feel like
anymore.
once Tom gets into media, I'm gonna start liking him a lot more.
Yeah, he seems like a person, which kind of doesn't make me very happy because I want to dislike him so bad. I really do.
Just think
I
about his
love,
life.
I love rooting against Brady. I love rooting against him.
Dude, Ryan and I have talked about Tom Brady's life how many times? Like, we'll just be like, this guy for sure just slaughters babies and sacrifices them on his altar or something. Like, wow, I married the richest, most beautiful supermodel of
Supermodel in
all time.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, like of all time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's an unathletic, goofy-looking seventh-round pick or whatever he was.
Look at
Who
him running
is the
in
slowest,
in the draft.
worst, terrible quarterback, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, I'm the richest guy who married the top supermodel. I've won all the Super Bowls. Like this is fake, dude. This doesn't have. If this was
He
a
looks
movie
like
script,
if Vanilla Pudding was a human being. And
we would just
somehow
light it
he's
on
like-
fire.
Dude, when he's just running running his 40 and he's like someone was like he's like, can I get a draft shirt? And someone just handed him a double XL.
He's like,
And it's just have you ever seen that, dude?
Yeah.
He looks so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Chilling at the combine in the moo right?
I had my
Giselle's just like, yeah.
my wife and I had a conversation right before the week 6 2020 or week 7 2020 Buccaneers Packers game, and she's looking at Brady and she's like, isn't he the guy who like married Giselle or whatever? Like, what's his name? And she's watching the game, and I'm frustrated because of what's happening on the field. But by the end of the game, she's like, oh my gosh, these announcers will not shut up about this Tom Brady guy. They won't shut up about him. And over the course of the season, she developed the deepest hatred for Brady. I mean, it's not even funny. She like was borderline in tears when he unretired. I was not with her that day. She was hanging out with her family, and her dad told her that Brady unretired, and she just lost it. It like ruined her whole day.
That was like one of the worst days I've ever had. Ryan told me, and I'm like, are you lying?
It's devastating.
He's
was
like,
the
no,
worst
dude, did you
news.
see this? And I'm like, is it April Fool's? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm going.
Happy it was finally over. The
I
nightmare
was
finally
so
ended.
happy. It was finally over. And we're not
Well,
even like the teams that he's particularly picked on. It's
No.
just like,
No.
Right.
like there's so many people that are like, wow, the
he
nightmare
picked on us
isn't over.
one time, and that
Like,
Yeah,
was
we're
one
not
time.
we're not even
Dolphins
close to
fan.
being rivals. I just hate them.
Yeah.
Imagine being, the Steelers or
The
anybody,
Dolphins.
The
Miami
Bills.
or
just
yeah.
get pooped on every day of your life for
Right.
like 17 years.
You know what though? It can still be worse. Somebody pointed out that over the last like I don't know 7 or 8 years, something like that. If you look at what Brady has done, it's like every other year. It's win the Super Bowl, losing
Yeah.
the wild card round. Win the Super Bowl, losing the wild card. Win the Super Bowl, and then last year losing the wild card round. It's like great. So why are we even going to play the season this year? What's
yeah.
the point?
I don't want to. I tell you what, we're done talking about Tampa. We're done talking about New England. Let's talk about the Giants. Week 5. That's
Let's
much
go.
better.
Smash.
Week 5 in London. Giants smash.
Danny Dimes,
8:30 in the morning.
the
I
worst
love
receiving
it.
group in the
I'm
I'm
NFL.
so excited. Right? Are you even gonna get to watch that game, Ryan? Or are you gonna go to like?
I'll be
afternoon?
home. I'll be home.
Okay.
I'm gonna make that work no matter what. But yeah, no, that'll be nice too because it's like you wake up and it's like, all right,
Ryan's
it's go
like, that's
time.
between me and the Lord. I'm watching that game.
We'll work it out, man.
What's the exact opposite of a primetime game? Like not even a noon game. This is like a
The opposite of prime
early
time.
bird special game. I don't know.
Infomercial time. Infomercial. We're on that infomercial. Like
Yeah.
it should be yelling. It should be that dude being like, "Set it and forget
I
it."
was gonna say it's prime info.
I think that's the perfect game to take to London, dude. That crowd is going to be so rowdy over there. It's just going to
It's gonna
be
be awesome.
yeah.
And if you've ever wanted to like grow your fan base, like we've already got one out there and
Right.
everything. So like if you want to be like, they're like, dude, there's already Packers bars here. Be like, yes, there are. Be like, it's dope. Let's do it.
The British are going to be so excited. They're going to be like,
What? Don't make me look at the screen, man.
And I'll be like, "That was rude, JJ. Quiet down."
No, but
I
I
say,
think,
sit down. I cannot see the pitch.
oh God. I hope they don't do
What's
that out there.
Is-
I think there's
so, like,
going to be
is
a lot of
Jair-
new Packers out there because I think we're going to smash the Giants. So,
Is
I mean, they're
Jair
going to
finally
watch
gonna
an
get to go to
absolute
one?
Goliath.
And then how about that? We come back the very next week and play the Jets at home.
Yep.
That's
I-
awesome.
Call me crazy, but the Jets somewhat could be sneaky to me. I don't know. I feel like they just added a lot of tools. And how can you be that bad for so long? Like, so consistently. The rule of averages means you have to at least like spark once in a while.
But if you made that bet for the last 20 years, you'd be out of money.
There it is.
No.
That's so great. Sorry, Ryan. What were you saying?
I mean, all right. I guess I don't know what to do with that. I guess. No, I was just saying. I don't know if you made that bet 20 years, you'd be a pretty broke dude. So I'm not willing to bet that this is the year. Please bring him back. All right. Well, it's your money, so there you go. all that money you spent.
Now, but everybody's saying that Wilson's going to take a step this year, and I'm going, why does everyone think that? Why?
Well, Wilson who? Who the heck are you talking about?
Zach Wilson.
I thought we were talking about the Giants.
No,
we moved on to the other.
we're kind of
Oh
we're kind of
my God,
just
get out of here.
we cover two games at once.
Kick him out for that.
Get with it, JJ. Gosh.
I'm the president of the Zach Wilson hate club, so
That's true.
I'm here for this.
Are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what people seen that they're like, yeah, I really think he breaks out this year. I'm like, he showed nothing last year.
He showed nothing in freaking college.
What do you mean nothing? Did you see him in the preseason? He crushed us.
Did you see him in
crushed us?
Did you see him in tight shorts at the pro day throwing that ball off balance?
You guys do. He did crush us in the preseason, though.
Yeah.
Oh, he
That's how you
crushed
know.
he crushed our practice squad and
Yeah, dude. Those guys didn't
quarterbacks.
have a chance against Zach Wilson, man. I don't know. I remember the announcers during that game were like, "Man, he's gonna be a real one," you know, like.
Yeah, but think about. I mean, what did they do in the draft? They got Garrett Wilson, didn't they? And they also got who at 4? Cornerback, the best Sauce, right?
Yeah.
They got Sauce.
They
Yeah.
got
To get
Sauce.
Sauce, and then they came back in late in the first, I thought, and grabbed someone else. I could be wrong.
Let's see. They got Garrett Wilson at 10, and then they got
Type three
Jermaine Johnson at
Jermaine
26.
Johnson. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's a great draft.
I couldn't
Like
believe
type 3 diabetes, and we're like a type 3 team. Like, what's going on?
Devontae Wyatt and Jermaine Johnson. I could not believe they made it that far.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
They
Or
also got
Loftus went as far as he did, to be honest.
Brees
Carl
Hall,
Karloff
who's
stinks.
arguably the top running back, and then Jeremy Ruckert at tight end too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I don't know. They just
they loaded up, but it's the Jets and they suck, and they don't even know how to make the guys that they have that are already good.
do they still have Robert Salah too as their whatever guy? The guy that's like not good, but for whatever reason everybody's like he's good.
Well, that's what I was saying this morning. I think when I was talking about it, it's like there was all this hype for him, and I don't really know why. I'm guessing because the 49ers were good, and we do this weird thing where it's like, well, their
Loved
defense is
everyone on
good,
the 49ers for those 2 years that whatever they did.
right?
Like,
But that's the thing. It's like, so he's going to be this great head coach, which we don't know. We don't even know he's a good defensive coordinator. His good players played well. Whoop-de-doo. What does that have to do with Saleh? But then even if he's a good defensive coordinator, what does that have anything to do with being a good head coach? And like I said, if you look at their
Sorry.
good Lord.
Oh, what did I miss?
He's
I was
just-
even looking at the screen.
Blaine's just in my ear for some reason. I don't know.
I
He's
think
probably
he's
watching the
Bucks
basketball game.
because they're making a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
Well, he can enjoy the Bucks
78-85
game for a minute.
Celtics.
I don't even know what I was
He
talking
might,
about.
he
It's
might
fine.
have not noticed they got kicked.
He
No,
does.
you were-
He was
you were-
laughing in the corner.
You were trashing the Jets, and I'm here for it because the Jets absolutely have no business being.
Well, if you look at they had some really good defensive players that completely fell off a cliff last year. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just Saleh trying to implement what they did with the 49ers and it just sucked. But I mean, they had a linebacker that was one of the better linebackers who was one of the worst last year. They had a bunch of guys on defense that were decent and that's his whole thing is defense. You're supposed
Right.
to come in here and make the defense good, and you didn't. And then we go out and get a new quarterback, and he's no good. So it's just, I know they added some wide receivers and they had a good draft, but I still look at them and say there's just no way.
No.
Yeah, their overall team grade on PFF last year was 28th. I just don't see rookies coming in. And I agree, Jacob. I think they're great draft picks. I just don't see them coming in and making a huge difference. I mean, when you look at the head coach matchup, it's got to go to LaFleur. You look at the quarterback matchup, it's not even worth mentioning. Offensive line on the edge, I think that's all the way across the board. Packers are better. It's going to be a boat race. It really is.
Well, I think you got 5 teams in contention for the number 1 overall pick next year, and the Jets are right there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the only thing I can give them credit for, aside from maybe having some weapons, is the offensive line. But what are they going to do with it? I don't know. If you got a quarterback that can't throw, I don't think that helps you all too much. But I guess we'll see. I don't know. If he figures it out, then maybe. But even then, you have that defense. So
Yeah.
best of luck to you. All right. What's after the Jets?
The Washington Commanders.
Washington Commanders. I don't.
Blaine, what's the score that you're watching at right now?
90-83.
Jeez, you're way ahead of me. Oh no. Okay. Update. Update 90-83 Celtics.
There's that Rona cough. You know what that Rona?
That was
He's
cheating.
more energetic than any time I've ever
inhaling
seen him in
wing
my
sauce.
life right now. He's in quarantine. It's just munching away.
All right, so the Commanders'
I'm gonna lose my
overall
sense of
team
taste
grade
now.
last year was 20th. They got Carson Wentz, right? That was the big pickup.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see.
Yeah, they got
what was-
on Dotson, so they got some decent wide receivers, but they got that broke down quarterback that's going to play a half a season.
Yeah,
And then they got the same good offensive and defensive line that they always have, and that's about it.
right.
Yeah.
Is it at or home?
At.
Yeah.
I really think that the
I mean,
Commanders
the stadium
and the
might
Giants,
collapse on us or something.
Commanders and Giants, I think, are kind of on the same tier as each other. And I'm not sure there's any other team that's in that same tier of just like kind of no shot they make the playoffs. Not really any young, interesting players, and not going to be in contention for a good draft pick either.
The only thing I could think is it's one of those teams where if we come out flat because it's the friggin' Commanders, then they could possibly do some damage. Because we had that a couple years with Washington where they were basically the same team. They had a really good defensive line and a really good offensive line. The pass rush got to us, and the offensive line, we couldn't get any pass rush going, and it was just enough to beat us. So if we're sleeping, it could be a problem. But you could say that about pretty much every one of these games except the Bears games. If we're sleeping, we might lose the game. So that's about all I can think of.
There could be a distraction too. There wasn't that the stadium in Washington where the poop pops broke, right? Spilled out all over the stadium and all that good stuff. I mean, that place is a dump. There could be a couple distractions there. You talking about a organization in turmoil, dude? Have you guys read anything on what's going on over there with the Brooks? Do you know JJ?
With
Washington.
Commanders?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the latest issue is that Congress is involved now because somebody in Congress got wind that the Commanders were holding
Cooking the books.
Yeah, they weren't sharing all the revenue with the NFL, and that's like the only
Of
thing
course, they're from
that
Washington.
you can do as an NFL owner that is going to tick off the other owners enough to get you booted.
And now
that's it. There's nothing else except for that.
Check this out. So Dan Snyder and the OGM, God, what was his name? His dad was a coach in the league forever.
Paul something.
Bruce Allen, right?
Bruce Allen, yeah.
Okay, so Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder had this huge falling out. So when Bruce Allen got fired, left, whatever, they said he spilled the beans about all the sexual harassment. So that got everybody involved there. Well, then someone leaked out the emails. Dan Snyder, it's pretty much common knowledge now. Dan Snyder, the owner, leaked out the emails to get Bruce Allen in trouble. And the only thing that happened in leaking those out, Bruce Allen
got fired.
John Gruden got fired. And then in the midst of all that, because he did that, that opened up a further investigation. They started figuring out, holy cow, they've been cooking the books. They've been showing false numbers. They've been reporting everything that they were doing, they were hiding from the other owners. So Dan Snyder literally, like, I don't understand how the guy owns a business. Like, he's got to be a complete moron. But
I mean, so the question I have though is like, we've all seen Commanders games on TV. Nobody's at them.
No one's ever seen a Commanders game.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like, what revenue is he not sharing?
maybe that's the thing. There was none, and he's like, "Dude, I gave you everything I had to share."
This is where it gets deeper. This is where Congress got involved. So, not only was he doing that, he was actually showing that tickets were sold out. But what he was doing was buying the tickets himself. Okay. And he was selling them to third parties so they could jack the price up, and he split the profit with them. So think of like, we typically get our tickets from Packer Fan Tours or Event USA. Imagine Mark Murphy organizing a scheme where he purchases the Packer tickets, sells them to Packer Fan Tours, and they split a profit behind the scenes. That's basically what was going on. Like, it's insane. It's
weird too, because how much money do you get from that you're not already getting? I mean, so you went from like making like 100 million to like 108 million. That was worth it to you? I don't understand.
It makes no sense at all.
Million? I thought you were gonna say like $387 instead of like $160.
8 million? Come on, that's nothing, man. I wouldn't even bend over and pick up 8 million off the sidewalk.
Oh man.
So anyway,
and Snyder's like a billionaire, so
yeah, I don't understand. And then you got the Raiders are in a tailspin too right now. They're starting to really it's getting bad over there.
What is going on? Like, and then over in Denver, didn't that other dude, Judy, just got picked up too?
Yep. Yeah, Judy. Yeah. He got released. I don't know what's going on with
that whole wide receiver class, man.
Oh, he got released now?
Well, he's on bond.
Pending, yeah.
What exactly?
I thought you meant released from.
No, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
My bad.
What
choice
exactly
of words.
happened with him? What did he do illegal? Because I haven't heard anything detail wise. Does anybody know?
So I don't know about details, but the charges are basically like it's their equivalent of, like, in Wisconsin we have like criminal damage to property or like interfering with property. That was kind of what he was charged with, but with a domestic violence enhancer. So, like, I don't know if he like broke his girlfriend's phone or something. Oh, but like in a obviously violent way or something crazy.
Is that anything like misappropriation of property? Because I got one of those.
No, because he didn't take it. As far as we know, it was interference with property.
No, I stole a flag
Traffic
from a
cone.
bank.
Oh, that was a flag.
Stole a flag.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm on the right
and they had
team here.
flags out, and we thought it would look cool at our house, so we grabbed a couple.
Jacob, are you hearing all this, dude? Are you hearing this?
That sounds like something I'd.
Yeah.
One time there was an Ace Hardware next to the nicest golf course in town, and the Ace Hardware had this outdoor like gardening stuff, and we were like, I don't know, 14, 15. We stole a shovel and a nice pine tree that was still on a potted plant, like a tall 10-foot pine tree. And then we dug a hole and planted it on the 9th green of the nicest golf course like, in Hudson. And we made the paper and we cut it out like serial killers and put it on our wall. It's horrible.
It's like
refreshed.
Ryan and I have had a few run-ins with the law together, actually.
Yeah.
Two.
My favorite episode of Ryan is talking about how he highlights how drunk people do, quote unquote, like what they really want to do when they're drunk. And then how he goes into, I love how I like to like pass out on bathroom floors. That's what I love to do. It's what my hobby, like that's my passion. I love punching through glass, breaking windows, and
getting stitches.
That's my passion.
It just brings out your deepest desire to do things like that.
Ryan
I know that's who you really are.
That's exactly.
Punching ceiling. Yeah.
I feel like Ryan's finger is hovering over the
kick blade out.
Just waiting, like one more word.
I had to write. By the way, to get admitted to the bar, you have to like disclose everything illegal you've ever done.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like
me under the bus or what?
Of Wisconsin?
Yeah, to be admitted to the bar.
Are you only licensed or certified in Wisconsin?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm only licensed in Wisconsin. So I only
You had
practice
to
here.
write on the list that you were friends with Ryan Schlipp, right?
I did, and they were like, "All right, well, you're gonna have to come in for extra questioning." And so I had to draft an affidavit of circumstances, is what it's called, which is because I was like, I had 3 underage drinking tickets, and they're like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, they were
got
pretty
drunk."
stupid. I was drinking," and they're like, "We're gonna need affidavit of circumstances for each of those." So I had to type up the story, and I'm typing it up,
no.
and I'm like, "Some of these are so stupid," and I'm like,
I don't want to have to tell you this.
"Yeah," I'm like, "All right, so I'm gonna start the story at the part where we got caught." Because it's not as bad. It's the rest of that story. So we weren't being so bad when we got caught, actually. So
No, we were model citizens at that point.
in the parking lot. One time Ryan was driving, I was driving the other time. Oops. One was on the way to the Packer game.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was
We missed
the
the.
0-16. Yeah, the 0-16 Detroit game, the first one.
I was real mad because we missed all the tailgating and everything. We had to we got there and we had to walk straight into the stadium. That made me so mad.
He was so mad. We had amazing tickets. It was 50-yard line, third row, I think. And people left halfway through because it was real cold and snowy. And then we got to sit up front, got a high five from Donald Driver. It was dope. It was
That
super
was an
dope.
awesome day, from what I remember.
But yeah, no, it was
Are
a
we moving
jerk
on
state
to
trooper.
the?
Get them,
Are
Jake.
we on to the Bills?
Go to the Bills.
I guess.
All right.
Bills had the 9th overall team grade last year on PFF. Obviously, they're freaking studs. I'm just willing to look over this game, to be honest with you. I don't know. Do you guys see the Packers competing with the Bills?
Is that a
I hope
serious
so.
question? Let's talk
I mean,
about Packer
if we
fans
can't,
here.
then the season's tanked. If we have no chance against the Bills, then we might as well cash it in.
I
mean-
don't know if there's a definitive way to say I think there's certain games you're that's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of them.
Do you really? That's awesome. I hope you're right. I really do.
This is the one team I have them losing to in my worst case scenario, my most likely scenario, and my best case scenario. So that's how I feel about it.
Well, you guys are downers. The only team
That's
I
my-
ever talk about like this is the Niners. Whenever the Niners are on the schedule, I ink it in as I Sharpie that in as a loss, and then I move on to the rest of the schedule.
I
Bills
usually pick one of the Vikings games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here.
Split
I'm
with the
always
Vikings, yeah.
coin toss, which Vikings game, which one's prime time, which one's not.
Yep.
You know, the Kirk Cousin poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be less scared of the Bills than a team like the 49ers, just because of kind of how they're wired. I mean, they're the team that'll run up 50 points, and I just feel like we generally do better against those teams. Even if we're a more defensive team, I'm not as afraid of those teams as I am just the teams that are just stingy.
Random question. Are you more afraid of a Niners team with Trey Lance as a quarterback or Garoppolo?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to matter is kind of my biggest
That's-
fear. The
weird.
quarterback's just not a factor for that team. I'm not scared of Garoppolo. We still
And where
get the
does
crap kicked
Garoppolo
out of us.
go? Where? Carolina, maybe?
The problem is they won't send him to Seattle, and Seattle's who really needs a quarterback.
True.
So
If I was Garoppolo, I would refuse. I'd rather be unemployed. I'm not going there.
That guy's had
team
the
sucks.
weirdest quarterback career of all
He really
time.
has. He's kind of
He's like a backup always, kind of, but starts.
Oh, I got info, by the way, as to what happened with Jerry
Oh.
Jeudy.
all right. Go for it.
Jerry
If
Jeudy
this is
admitted
ju-
investigators that he locked his child's mother's wallet and baby formula in his
Oh.
car because she took one of his phones.
Wait, what?
that
Yeah.
that is 23 hours old. You can't act like this is insider info. That was on Twitter 23 hours ago.
Well, none of us
Well,
knew that, and you didn't
yeah.
tell us, JJ. So you should have
JJ's
told us when we were
JJ's
talking about what happened.
Jake,
happened?
Nobody
Jake
knows.
was telling part of the story, so I didn't feel like I'm going to jump in and be like, well, actually.
Alex,
So
and
that's control
to
of
be
what
fair, Alex
Jake's
dropped that in the comments 10 minutes ago, but I had no idea what it meant, and
Okay.
I
I
wasn't
had
gonna
no
put it
idea
up
what that
there.
meant either. I just
I
thought it
was
was
like,
like
I
a
don't know what you're
topical
talking.
reference.
Yeah, I was super
Yeah.
confused.
I thought he was
Like
like
baby
joking, but I
formula is
didn't get the
low.
joke.
one more time, Blaine. What did he get arrested for?
All right. So what I had told you, the charge was for tampering with
Right.
personal property. So I'd guessed he'd broken her phone or something. What he did was he took their child's baby formula and her wallet, put it in his car, and locked the door and refused to give it back.
Got
Formula
her.
that he paid for or that he did not pay for?
God.
Dude,
Look,
you're really
I'm just
starting
trying to
sound-
lawyer this
you're
right
start-
now.
The
you're
baby's
starting to
food.
sound like the people. I had a client call me one time, and he goes, "Man, baby mama just dropped the kid off. Kid's sick, and
That's a food blame
Didn't-
real fast
and
here.
didn't."
This is a
didn't bring
theoretical Blaine, right? Theoretical client called you.
I'm not a real lawyer.
Look
and
how I'm
a
lawyering
paid
right
Craigslist
now.
actor.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
he goes, and baby mom didn't bring his medication, so she sent him without his medication. He's sick, and I'm like, well, that's messed up, man. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you call the doctor. What was the medication? He goes,
Did you say it's your
Tylenol.
money and you need it now?
No. Yeah. He goes Tylenol, and I'm like, well, maybe you should just go to Walgreens and get some Tylenol, man. You should probably just have Tylenol. Like, what are you talking about?
Why don't
Why are you
you
calling me?
Tylenol
I'm a
here?
lawyer. This phone call
Charging
costs
you
you
$50 an hour.
Like $350 an hour. Like, are you kidding me?
So you can get arrested for locking baby formula in a car.
Well, in someone's wallet. So it's tampering. It's tampering with somebody's stuff. It's like you're messing with somebody's stuff.
Okay.
You have their personal state ID and you say you can't have this. So that's
Right.
obviously.
Man, it's a little bit different down here. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the law is applied down here, but
He's like, man, I do that to my wife all the time, dude.
You
She
kidding
talks
me?
smack. I steal her stuff. I hide it, and then I don't give it back. And then I go finders
The
keepers.
cops show up and they're
losers,
like,
weepers.
well, wait a minute. Did you
And the
hit her
police-
yet? No.
Police are always just saying finders keepers, losers, weepers. You
All
know,
you did
I
was
don't know.
steal her stuff. I don't care.
I
Don't
took
call
her
me
stuff
again.
and said she couldn't have it back. Think of it as
Oh, man.
kidnapping for personal property.
I don't know, man. It just seems kind of soft. That's all I'm gonna say. Seems a
Well,
little
yeah,
soft.
it doesn't sound like he's going to
Yeah.
prison or anything. I'm sure.
No, I don't
It's
think
definitely
he's
not what they compared. What's the other guy? The guy who ran his car into someone at like 130
Ruggs.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
And then
who's like
didn't give a
reckless
crap about it
homicide.
afterwards. So yeah, that doesn't just not on the same level for me. But
Probably a
No.
little different would be my thought.
You're like, I don't
guys.
know, it's not dog fighting, so you know,
right?
let's compare
That
it to
guy's on
something that's completely
CBS or
different.
Fox or whatever every day, and he's like, "Hey,
I don't know,
what's up?"
you weren't
Kinda
betting on any
sorry.
games, were you?
Yeah, right.
They're just shunning Pete Rose, like in this.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so back to the Bills. JJ, you sound really confident. You think the Packers are going to beat the Bills?
Dude, we're one of the premier teams in the league. Other premier teams don't scare me. Teams that have like stupid voodoo stuff over us, like the like Tom Brady personally or the 49ers, they scare me. Just a really good team in the Bills, it doesn't scare me. We're a really good team too. We should be able to hang with them. That's the caliber of team you're going to meet in the playoffs. You know, if you get to the Super Bowl, it's probably going to be the Bills you're playing against.
No.
Doesn't
The
scare me.
The Bills are also one of those teams, and it's probably shouldn't even say it because they are but you look at their roster and it's like they've got some issues. Like this is not a top to bottom elite group. I mean, their defensive line has got some questions. I think their linebackers. I mean, they had some elite pass rushers that are gone now, so I don't know exactly what they've got going on. But I mean, they find a way to make it work. So I mean, they're obviously a good team. But I look at the team and it's like they have some serious issues that can be exploited for sure.
The other
Yeah.
problem that they had last year was that they were one of those hot or cold teams. Like
Right.
they'd hang 50 on you, and then the next week they couldn't even crack 10 points. Like
Right.
it just no consistency.
Yeah, well, they basically swapped out Jerry Hughes at edge for Von Miller. That's definitely an upgrade there.
That is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got, they lost Harrison Phillips, who was a big fan favorite. They added Daquan Jones. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I just think of that Kansas City game, there where Kansas City outlasted them, and just all the points that they put up. I don't know. Of course, the Packers have a heck of a lot better defense than Kansas City. So that's the thing that keeps giving me, I don't want to say hope, but a lot of, I don't know. It just eases my mind a little bit to know how bolstered this defense is. Because I've been a Packer fan since 2003. I've never felt this way about defense, even in 2010. I mean, it was exciting. Yes, they got great pressure on the quarterback. You had Seawood running around the backfield, but I don't know, man. It just feels different this time. They just feel solid on defense. So JJ's about to talk me into that. I don't know. It's going to take a lot, but being on the road, quarterbacks are almost a push, I feel like. If Josh Allen plays like he did last year, as far as head coach, I'd take LaFleur over old Baldy up there. But yeah, I don't know. Edge defenders, I would say that I don't know, man. Von Miller, would you think Von Miller is better than Gary right now?
No.
So Gary's better than Von Miller. So we got the edge sealed up. Head coach, we got sealed up. Quarterback, I think we've got that too, but it's pretty close to a push with the way Allen played. What comes next is offensive line, right? So is our offensive line healthy? And what week is this? This
like
is
8 or something.
8.
7, 8.
Yeah. Do we have any kind of time frame on Elton Jenkins yet, Ryan? Have you heard anything?
I'm not sure exactly what that is. So here's my thought on Buffalo. It's a little early to do this kind of analysis, but I think the big reason that they're able to win a lot of these games is because they can hang up so many points so fast that you get behind and you got to throw with them. If you look at their defense, they can't stop the run to save their lives. They're not built that way. If you can slow the pace on them, I think you can beat them. It's just hard to slow the pace, but I think the Packers defense can possibly do that. I think they've got the pass rush and they've definitely got the speed secondary to slow down that aerial assault. So I think if they can do that and force them to kind of rein it in and try to force them to run the ball, which they're not, they're not built that way. They're built to stretch the field, throw the ball 1,000 times. So I think if we can slow the pace, run the ball really well, and also force them to do that, I think we can pretty easily. If we can't, then we might be in trouble.
That's good analysis, and that's exactly the kind of team that the Packers have had great luck with in the last few years.
I think so,
too.
and I think the defense especially is right now built for that. Again, the speed in the secondary, and then the talent as far as pass rush, I think is gonna make it tough for them to play their style of game.
Yeah, their defense has been pretty overrated. I would say the last 2 years. 2019, I think, was when their defense was just lethal.
Yep.
But it wasn't like they took a step back. It was they fell apart after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the offense. The offense takes all the strain off of their defense because everybody just has to throw. And when it's after halftime, the start of the third quarter, and that they're throwing 3 downs in a row, they're not going to bother running the ball because they're down by 21 points. It makes it real easy on your defense what you're doing.
They just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. That's
right. We'll stay in dime. We don't need linebackers anymore. So yeah.
I guess I'm just giving their defense a little too much credit. I thought they had one of the best safety combos in the league.
They do have some good safeties for sure. Yeah, they do. I mean, they're not bad. I just think they're overrated.
Yeah, the other thing too is I just have a hard time. It's a little bit different with the Packers, and then even the Vikings or whoever is just in our division who we really are have a magnifying glass on all off season. But when a team is crazy good one year, I don't go into the next season automatically assuming they're going to be that good because they just never are. And like a lot of people keep talking about like, well, Rams are the team to beat. They might go back to back, and I'm going, why would they? They weren't even the best team. They weren't even close to the best team in the NFL last year. Yeah, great. You won a Super Bowl. I think you're going to take a massive step back, and you weren't even that good to begin with last year.
Yeah, they were. I don't even know where they would rank in as far as the NFC is concerned, but it wasn't top 3. I know that for sure.
No.
So maybe probably top 5. I guess I don't know. I'd have to add it up, but they were clearly neither of the teams in the Super Bowl were top 3 in their own, division or whatever.
Well, and that just goes to show that winning a Super Bowl, there's a lot of luck involved, which we know.
It's always.
Well, PFF actually has the LA Rams. This is surprising to me. Has them rated their 2021 team grade as first place. That is kind of surprising to me because I kind of felt the same way about the Rams when the Packers were up to play them. We were in Green Bay. I think it was, for the Seattle game, and I believe they played the Rams the very next game, if I remember right. But I remember not being worried about it at all. But like you said, you get hot at the right time. You're going to run.
Can I share my screen for a second?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you, and then the Falcons just tweeted this out. Is that not a piece of poop on the Bears
That's
logo?
white. That's white dog poop. That's from
That's-
Step Brothers. That's white. You
this
just
is the
licked white
actual
dog poop.
Falcons account.
That's all they got to say.
Dude,
I got a.
That's so perfect.
What does he say? I got a belly full of white dog poo. And now you bring this on me?
the NFL social media teams have been on fire.
They've been
Did you
killing
guys
it,
watch-
man.
This is
Did you
about
guys
to be
watch-
my new Twitter photo.
That's.
Did you guys watch?
Save that.
Yeah. Throw
Did you
that
guys
in a
watch the
bunch.
video that the Chargers put out where it basically roasted the entire league? It was
I heard about it, but I didn't see any of them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. When it got to the Colts week, it showed Pat McAfee control, and it looked like he was in a phone booth or something. He was controlling a quarterback carousel, and he looked all sad. It was, I'm telling you, man, they nailed every. And when it got to Cleveland, it had some kind of legal term. It popped up and said something like they were legally advised not to comment on this. If you guys get a chance, go watch that video. It's very well done.
I got to see that.
Yeah.
I was just glad the Packers actually did something this year.
They did? I didn't see it.
Yeah,
mean,
they did like the old
Kick
retro
JJ outta
golfing
here.
game or whatever for the
Come
schedule.
on.
Oh,
It got
yeah.
a little repetitive, but I thought it was creative. At least they did something.
At least they did something.
I
No,
saw
I mean
somebody.
it was really cool, but like after like the third one, I'm like, all right, this is the same thing every time. It's getting a little old.
So somebody tweeted, because I guess Elon Musk there's like a little hiccup in his acquisition of Twitter, and somebody
because
said
they found out that there's like more. There's not that many people on Twitter. It's
Yeah,
all
right.
fake
It's all
people.
bots.
So somebody said, if this falls through, who do you want to buy Twitter? And somebody said the Packers, and I immediately almost threw up my mouth a bit. I was like, no, their social media presence is
Oh, that's horrible.
really bad,
Yeah, that's not
really
great.
bad.
Is
That's
it
what I meant
Ryan?
too,
Have
where
you
I-
said that their website's like I went out the other day just thinking I could find a quick rundown of their draft picks and the
You won't find
rank
anything.
and order. No, it's
Oh, it's
really
garbage.
bad.
Well, and I think I don't know if they all just use one template from the
They do.
NFL.
They do.
And the NFL is
It's
garbage. Like
terrible.
NFL.com is not good. But
Right.
then the team
Really
websites are
bad.
terrible. I don't know how they're all so bad, but it's trash.
You know, someone's making like millions just
Right.
like keeping that site afloat.
There's probably like 10 people on the web development department for the NFL, and the head guy is making like 250 grand. It's,
Yeah.
it's just,
Email's still in
and he doesn't have to do
AOL.com.
anything. Like they haven't updated it since 2007.
Yeah,
It's been the same crap,
Windows 5.
right?
The only thing they ever change on there is the animated logo banner at the top. Like
Right.
every 6 months or so, we get a new animation that plays on repeat.
And they make another metal like RoboCop guy that can apparently just like do a graphic, and that's it. And they're like, "We've done our job for the year."
That
What do
guy
you do?
deserves his
First-
money, by the way. The guy that
first
does the
of all,
robot, pay that
That's
man
Monday
whatever
night.
he
That's
gets.
Monday Night Football, guys. Everyone
Yeah.
calm down.
For Fox, yeah.
Yeah, that's Fox.
That's true. It's Fox, but still, that guy deserves all the money because I
Well,
love
yeah.
that robot.
Dude, I
That's
mean,
awesome.
the thing is, look at their websites and look at all like the graphics and like the shows that they put on. Super dope. Other than ESPN, which has been just
ESPN's trash too,
garbage.
and I pay
They
for
don't
that
even
garbage.
try.
ESPN. I have ESPN Plus only because it's bundled with Disney Plus, and we like watching the Marvel and Star Wars shows.
All right, after
Nerd
Buffalo
alert.
at Detroit Lions, Clayton
It's
at Detroit
literally
Lions, man.
wearing a Lion King t-shirt.
Nerd alert.
Oh, listen,
JJ, what's
listen to
what
what
is with
M&M
the
guy had to
M&Ms?
say.
What's the peanut M&Ms? What is that?
I just have been using this picture for everything for years, so I needed a background, and I just
Okay.
threw that up there.
Years?
I was gonna say
What is that?
4 or 5
supposed to
years.
that
mean?
does not answer
4 or 5
any of
years.
my questions. All it does is be like, what? Why have you been using that for years?
Yeah.
It's memorable. That's it.
Jeez, man.
Sentimental value. All right.
Okay.
So
It just,
the Detroit
it
Lions.
just really makes me feel comfortable.
Does anyone here think the Detroit Lions have a chance against the Packers if Aaron Rodgers is playing quarterback?
No.
Yes.
You do,
Yes.
Jacob?
I think the Lions are going to be sneaky good. I think that coach has those guys. That's a team that's playing for their coach and that actually bought in, I think. And they went through some of the worst seasons, some of the worst games, and all of it. Detroit is like you put a bag over your head just to drive through it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, no one wants to be from Detroit. It's gross. And I think that for some reason he might have a little bit of a spark. And you look at the Lions draft, what they did. I mean, they kind of fell into their hands. I shouldn't give them any credit because they didn't do anything. All they did is just have people pass on guys, and they took them. So,
Dude, every
cool.
year's. I mean, if by your logic, man, they're dangerous every year for the last 15 years, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
but because they constantly pick first because they suck. So you'd think in theory they
is
would.
that a burn chicken wing?
I think it is. It's like a whole series. So they got like some of them kind of make sense because of like the Maryland crab stuff, I guess.
That's
It's
like,
it's like chicken wings.
Everyone's chicken wings.
They're all just chicken or poop or what?
But the
What's
Bears
ours?
is like a moldy chicken wing.
That's white poop.
Oh yeah, we do play no, we don't play the Falcons this year. It wouldn't be on here.
Oh, it
Man,
really is.
that's
just
gotta
chicken
be
wings.
Ugh.
I
That's
changed my
legit,
mind. This
though.
is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I
what's
agree,
the
man.
Packers one?
I thought it was a lot cooler when it was a turd.
Right.
That's what I thought. I just thought it was white dog poop.
Explain
It's been there
why.
so long, like it's gross, and it's
This is like
almost,
Is this a pizza wing?
This is
a
like the
chicken wing.
M&M thing. Why chicken wings? What does that mean?
Okay, because your wing has
I don't
bangle
get it
stripes on it.
Well,
if
first
this
of all,
was
it's
if it was
tiger
the
stripes.
Bills who
dude.
are tweeting this out, you go like, oh, Buffalo wings, Buffalo Bills. Sure, but I don't get it.
I think if a
they're
6-year-old did this,
Atlanta.
I would.
What is that? What
if
is
a
that?
s- If a 6-year-old did this, I would tell him it looks like
I-
crap.
Is that one of those? Is that
And
one
I
of those?
hit him and tell him to go back to making my shoes.
Right.
That blue one looks like
What is
what's that called? The
This is the
Pokemon
best,
or
though.
whatever? Is that a Pokemon? What the hell?
This is the best one.
White dog poop, man. You can't convince me that's not white dog
Lick
poop.
it.
Look at
Lick it.
I got a belly full of white dog poop right now. You come at me with this?
Where's the Packers one?
We don't
I
play
don't
the
know.
Falcons this year.
only
It
do
would-
it
you
to
know,
their
it would be a
opponent.
cheese
Yeah, it would just be cheese.
somehow.
Yeah, but that'd be
You know.
dope. I just wanted to see them like
Actually,
be like,
it probably
oh,
wouldn't be
sorry.
because that would actually be creative, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh.
That took someone like an hour, maybe 2
Oh,
hours.
you
That
know
was-
what? You know
that
what
was
the white
somebody
one- that
who-
was supposed to be a frozen wing.
I don't. I'm gonna put it back on the screen. We
I
gotta
think it's
debate
supposed
this
to,
now.
I think it's supposed to be
Meaning like a
frozen
like a
chicken wing.
freezer
That-
dried.
Yeah. Like one of
That
those
was a guy who
frozen
forgot his
chicken
assignment,
drumsticks. See,
and last
frozen
minute
chicken. Oh,
he had to
shoot.
throw this up.
see, that's what it is. I figured it out.
It
But what does
doesn't
that
look-
mean? What does that
It
mean?
doesn't look frozen. It's moldy. It's,
frozen.
green.
No, dude, it's
There's
got freezer
green
burn.
there.
It's
There's
freezer
hints
burn.
of blue.
Dude,
freezer
you
burn.
cannot thaw this and eat it. You will go to the hospital.
In
Well, you
Chicago,
have to
apparently
cook
you
it.
can because you need food. There's no food.
Somebody explain to
In
me
the-
how
in the
either of those two
frozen-
things make sense.
In the
frozen or
tundra
moldy.
of Chicago.
What does that have to do with Chicago?
Well,
they're
moldy
cold.
makes a lot of sense for Chicago.
That'd be prime eatery in Detroit. I know
You
that.
never had a falcon wing?
Fucking bald eagle wings, I think, are the best.
Oh my
I'm just
God.
kidding, FBI. Don't
It
chase
tastes like freedom.
Apparently, did you know that they literally arrested a dude like recently because he had a bald eagle feather, and then they went and investigated him. And to be fair, they were like, "What'd you do?" And he's like, "I killed the bald eagle." So,
That's
all right, that one was
that's not
A
the
did
answer you
equal.
give.
Well, haven't you ever have you heard of like the guy who owns like the most expensive bald eagle? Like it's like he can't sell it because it's super against the law, but you're like allowed to inherit it.
How
But
does
he
own
has
it?
like Abraham or he has like George Washington's bald eagle or something like that.
No, his
And it's
kin,
like
right?
stuffed.
Man, that's a
Birds
old,
don't live to be 300 years old.
Yeah,
okay?
dude, that's a pterodactyl.
It's already tell you that, lawyer.
Pterodactyl.
I mean, it's obviously dead. It's
Jack
obvious-
Hanna in here.
Why do we
Maybe
have
a
to have
turtle
this
dove lives
conversation?
that long.
I don't know why anyone even thought that was maybe the case.
Are we ready to
gummy
move
worms
on to
right
the
now?
Lions? Are we good to move
I'm
past the
doing
line?
what I'm doing, Jacob.
I'm just
I'm
fine, man.
moving.
I'm still
here's
mad
the
about
thing
the
with
chicken
Lions.
wings.
I
I
Here's
see
the
a
thing with the Lions.
multicolored worm going into your mouth, and I want to
COVID.
know.
Take Matt Patricia's era out because Matt Patricia was literally the worst of all time. The Lions, like we're not that far removed from where we really did struggle against the Lions every year. Like we'd split with them like every single year.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it's hard to start with we can't lose to the Lions when we can barely beat them every year for the last 5 years. You know what I mean?
The very last time we played them, we lost to them.
And that's when they're. I mean, they basically win no games, but they're this close to beating us every year. So if they got marginally better, I think it's safe to say we might be in trouble.
Well, as far as getting better, they added edge defender Charles Harris, wide receiver DJ Shark, safety Deshaun Elliott, corner Mike Hughes, safety Tracy Walker, none of which impressed me. I mean, DJ Shark's
Tracy Walker was already a Lion, wasn't he?
It says additions probably re-signed. Additions re-signed. Maybe Charles Harris already there too?
I honestly don't even know who that is.
It says no one moved on, so that's not a good sign for the Lions. They're bringing the same team back. But, I don't know, man. I don't think nothing to worry about there. But the next game with the Dallas Cowboys, though, how y'all feeling about the Cowboys?
It's going to be a fun game, I think.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has got their number real hard.
Yeah,
He's 5-3 against the Cowboys in his career. I'd feel a bit better if this game was at Dallas because that's like his vacation home. The fact that it's at home weirdly feels like a disadvantage.
Yeah,
I think it'll be cool to have them at home November 13th.
Yeah, PFF has their overall grade at second in the league. Their offense was ranked first, and their defense was ranked 12th. I think it's going to be cool to have McCarthy back in the building. I don't like the fact that he may have those guys juiced up to come in and get a W. But
is Mike McCarthy capable of getting guys juiced up?
See, I love Mike McCarthy. That's just me. I don't understand the hate for Mike McCarthy. I love how Aaron Rodgers
do you think he's gonna like put something in the gator? What is going on over there?
What is that noise?
That's me. Sorry, I didn't think I was on the stream.
Here's the thing about Mike.
Are you stirring
Got
up?
Jacob stirring a drink. We got half Mexican lawyer playing guitar.
Here's the thing about Mike McCarthy. Everybody passed up on Aaron Rodgers, right? Okay, so the Packers draft him. Obviously, McCarthy steps in head coach next year, whatever. Is it just Aaron Rodgers? Was Aaron Rodgers just that great? Was he this quarterback that came out and he was you can't miss? This dude's an elite talent, unbelievable. Because I remember watching him the first 4 years, and the dude was not a good quarterback. And now, who coached him up? Who was responsible for training Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think there's any question that Mike McCarthy was a very good coach for a long time. I don't have a problem with that.
And I'm not debating that at the end he didn't deserve to get fired. I completely agree. He lost the team. But when people act like he's this horrible coach and he's just like he's this buffoon, this baffling idiot that knows nothing about football, he just happened to have Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. I think it's laughable. I really do.
I'm just questioning whether at this stage in his career, if he's capable of getting Cowboys players excited and juiced up to go play his former team.
Dude,
I just don't know that they're going to buy.
He's going to hire one of the Gallaghers, dude.
The Gallaghers?
Smashing watermelons.
Well, I know this. His team last year had, according to PFF, the top-ranked offense. Okay, that must have just been Dak Prescott, I guess. I don't know.
I think if I had to pick one that's going to fall off the farthest, they might be the team I pick. I think they were massively inflated last year, especially their defense. They had one of the best defenses last year, and I don't think they have a very good group of defenders at all. So I think that's going to fall off. I think they're going to have a bad year, and I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Brian's not a big fan of America's team.
No.
Yeah. Well, all right. So that's a W? Is that what we're thinking here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
Toss up for me.
Toss up.
W. Just put a W.
If I had to pick one way or another, I would say it's a win. Yeah. I just again think it's I don't know. I just don't understand how people think he's a bad coach. It blows my mind.
No, that's not what I think at all. I just think he's going to lose. Boop.
He's gonna lose bad.
Who's the next team?
Tennessee.
Cowboys. No, or we already did Cowboys.
We-
Oh, we did Cowboys. sorry.
Tennessee,
God.
What?
Tennessee Titans.
What did you put in that drink, Jacob?
I left the chat for a hot minute, and all I see is him sliding down like he's melting into his chair. I can't
Yes.
focus.
Whoo.
He took an edible like 30 minutes ago, and now it's hitting him. It's just, this is my spot now.
I've never done drugs a day in my life. I've never done drugs with anybody else before. I've never done anything in my whole life.
Oh Lord.
I'm a
COVID
lawyer.
makes him
Titans.
hallucinate.
Titans are going to be interesting because this is a home game for us. And obviously, the last time we played them was one of the most fun football
Yeah,
games
awesome
I've ever
game.
seen.
That's dope.
Awesome. man.
I lived in Nashville for 5 years, and I tell you, 100% JJ. So I was working at a Bar Louie in Nashville, which they're corporate, so they've got them in Minneapolis, tons of different cities around the world, around the country at least. And they asked me, they're like, "Hey, you're a Wisconsin guy, like, you know, do we have enough liquor stock to blah blah blah? Like, we hear that they travel pretty well." And I was like, "No, you do not." I would literally recommend, I was like, you could double that and you'd probably still not be okay. And they're like, "Okay, guy." And I was only like maybe on for a month and a half or whatever. And I was like, "I'm telling you right now," I said, "the Packers team will travel better and farther than any other squad. And they were going to drink you guys out of stock." And they're like, nah, whatever. We've seen it. Long story short, by halftime, they were literally out of stock, had to actually like, we couldn't serve any more wings. We couldn't serve any more. We put down all the draft beer that they had in stock, and then they had to go into reserve alcohol. Like, I'm talking stuff that was like
It's like the plague of locusts.
dirty,
comes in and
dirty,
just
like
demolishes all the
Russia
greenery and
vodka,
leaves.
like actual, yeah.
You ever have aged Miller Lite?
Exactly. There's 4
we
or
have.
5 different Packer bars in Nashville proper, and then around the surrounding area, probably 20, 25. It's crazy.
This
Yeah.
is, dude. Charlie Barons needed to do a video on that.
I mean, it was a good time. I did I when I first opened up my law firm, I didn't have any clients or anything, so I was bartending. I was like, "Oh, get my bartender's license, have a good time." And I was bartending during, it was like Packers season, and so I volunteered to bartend during all the Packer games, and it was just like a place right in Waukesha. And man, there was some crazy times like being behind the bar for those. I had like, you'd have people just walk up to you, and he just like gives me $100 bill. He's like, "Put that in your pocket. If I walk towards you, you're gonna hand me a Miller Lite." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Here's your credit card. That 100's just for you doing whatever I want." I'm like, "All right, man. You can have as many Miller Lites as you want, dog." That was it. It was just, I saw him coming, and I'm like, "Shh, got you, boss." And people are crazy. Packer games and bars, and it's just like people are excited to be back too. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a good season.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna have to go out
I'm
with some.
I'm a lot more juiced up for this season than I was for 2021.
I'm telling Ryan's pretty sure that like I should have this be like how I
Oops.
make my Twitter presence.
You're good.
Did you see that meme that said like, oh, what was it? It was Jerry or Judge. Oh, what was it?
Judge Jerry Judy.
Judge Jerry Judy, and it was Jerry Judy in front of Judge Judy.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
that's
was
actually
like,
that
all
was
right.
actually the joke. That's amazing.
Internet wins. Okay, I'll go to bed. Like,
All right, so with the Titans, PFF grade, overall 14th, offense 13th, defense 11th, special teams 8th. Obviously, just a pretty solid team across the board. Off-season additions. Addition/re-signed is tight end Austin Hooper, center Ben Jones, edge defender Harold Landry III. They lost David Quisenberry at tackle and Jaden
Brown, right?
Brown at linebacker. Yeah. So that being said, how you feel about the Titans game?
It's a
And they
physical
lost
team.
Julio, technically, right?
What's that?
I said they lost
12,
Julio
sort of,
technically,
yeah.
didn't they?
Unless he goes back.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I'm not scared by the Titans. Again, I've lived in Nashville. They do not have a fan base. I don't care what anybody tells you. They have people that are in town to go see the opposing people go play at Nashville. I once went to I watched a Ravens
Harsh.
Titans game with my buddies, and we got like, I'm talking right on the first row, no questions. And we walked in, and the security guards didn't care, and they're like, oh, cool, looks like people are here. So then, like, I don't know. I got no problem scheduling that as a W for sure.
I like the Titans. I'm not scared of them, but I think it's going to be a really fun game. I would not be surprised if they play us a lot better than they did last time, but still not scared of the game. I think it has a potential to be one of the more enjoyable games of the season.
Yeah, I think the downfall is that they're going to try to play the same way because that's how they play, and they're going to try to out-physical us, and I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, they drafted Traylon Burks, so they're still trying to be this big, strong team, and I just don't think that's going to work too well, especially, again, their defense. They've been trying to fix the defense forever, and I still think they suck. They don't have any pass rushers at all. They don't have corners. They've got some good safeties, but I think their defense is going to get completely bowled over, and they're going to try to play big boy football with Henry and Burks, and I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, we're a lot tougher than we used. Like this has never been our MO, and now this is like
this would have been like 3 or 4 years ago. This would be the team that would just crush us because we would be
2018.
we were the soft team in football, and that's just not the way it is anymore.
Yeah.
Just drafting DBs in the first round every year for 1,000 years in a row. Be light everywhere else.
Oh, I'm so excited to watch these two linebackers and our defensive line just murder people. Just be a suffocating front seven.
And then just Rashawn Gary getting to just do whatever he wants.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I think it's a W there. I think they beat the Titans for sure. All right, up next we got the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. Let's see if we can pull it up. How you feel about the Eagles, Ryan? What do you think?
I think for me, it all comes down to Hurts. If he can really step up, because they've got some serious weapons at receiver. They still got a really good offensive line. They got one of the better tight ends in football. It could be a really scary offense. And then the defense has got a bunch of old guys, but they can still play a little bit. So there's something there. But I mean, the Eagles, obviously, last time we played them, we got surprised by their level of play. And they got a chance of being a little bit better. So it's where we should beat them because we are the better overall roster. But I'm a little bit concerned, if that offensive line is a little too stiff for us and we can't quite get the pass rush and they can run the ball. And Hurts is a mobile quarterback, and if he can throw on top of it, and you got Devonta Smith and you got A.J. Brown, and it can kind of get away from you a little bit if you're not careful.
Who was their first round pick again? Did they get Davis?
Yeah, they got Jordan Davis on the defensive line too. So
big old beast.
They had 2 picks this year, didn't they? In the first round.
Did
they take a receiver? Oh no, they took a linebacker.
No.
Didn't they pair Jordan Davis with another Georgia linebacker?
Kobe Dean in the third round.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
All right.
I have the Eagles. This is one of the few losses I have penciled in this year.
Really?
Yeah.
They play us tough.
It'll be one of those random
They beat
games.
us 2 times ago.
Yeah.
Dude,
They handed us the
take that off your
first
background.
loss of the
It's gonna make me sick.
2019.
He's got a giant turd in his background. That's offensive. Ryan, ban him.
This is one of the games.
It was a
that I
frozen
picked
chicken
as
wing.
I actually picked this as a loss as well. Yeah. And that's going to be Sunday Night Football too, right? So
Yeah.
at Philly. All right. Up next, we got the Bears on the road. Is that even worth talking about?
I mean, if
Will
you
be a different quarterback by that time, maybe.
That would
would
work.
be awesome.
Who else did they sign? Who's their new backup?
They did sign someone.
Peterman,
Yeah,
and Trevor
Peterman.
Siemian, I think. Isn't Trevor Siemian there too?
Yeah. Is it
I want to be
Nate-
playing
Nate
Peterman
or something.
Nate Peterman, man.
You know what I want to happen so bad is for Justin Fields to have a very minor injury and he ends up sitting and it's like, oh no, it's because he's hurt real bad. Trust us. And it's like, shut up. It's because he's the second best quarterback on your team. You're lying.
He's just Jay Cutler on the sideline on the
He's
exercise
riding
bike.
the bike.
Ah!
No, trust me, guys, it hurts real bad.
Then if Trevor Siemian or Peterman come in and play better than Fields,
It'll be great.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that would make me so happy, and it wouldn't be surprising.
No,
Like he gets turf toe for a week,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Just boop,
Couple
stubs his
weeks.
toe.
What if they cue the Stone Cold music, right? The glass breaks. And here comes Kyle Orton walking in, right? Kyle Orton.
Peterman comes in, has a Matt Flynn-esque game.
Exactly.
Dude,
All right,
Matt Flynn.
all of a sudden Ryan Poles is a genius for signing Nate Peterman.
Right.
This is the one I want to talk about. Obviously, we got the bye week. Then it's Monday Night Football, LA Rams. You guys hearing Ryan talk on the podcast.
Instant
Hearing
W.
JJ
No
talking
matter what you're
about
gonna
it.
say,
It's
instant
literally,
W.
yeah. It's just
I literally don't care.
shoe it in as a win, right?
This is the safest win on the schedule, if you ask me.
I hope
Okay, Colin Cowherd.
But no, seriously, I do think it's going to be a win. The Rams scare me 0%. They didn't scare me last year. They lost like half their roster this year. Who are you supposed to be scared of? I'm not scared of Jalen Ramsey. I don't care that we don't have Devontae anymore. Jalen Ramsey does not scare me. He has to be the single most overrated player in the NFL.
It's just the Shanahan pecking order. The 49ers beat the Packers beat the Rams. That's just the way it is. Just pencil it in. It's just done.
Well, I'm getting the tickets tomorrow. We've got everything queued up to make the purchase. So that's definitely the game I'm going to. I just hope I don't come back with my head between my legs.
Is that
there.
game at home for us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Monday
is just
night.
such an easy win right there.
And that's after the bye, correct?
Yep.
It's after the bye. That's Monday Night Football.
And on
So
a Monday, we get 11. So we got the Bears,
Plus,
which is
you
a
know-
rest.
Well, and OBJ will be back for us at that point, playing against the Rams.
That's
So
true.
This is what worries me, though. I mean, you got the Bears and the bye, and then the Rams. I mean, you've literally gone almost 3 weeks without playing a football game. So I'm a little worried about that.
whose screen is this? Is this Blaine's screen or Ryan's?
That's got to be
That's
Blaine's.
The Magic 8 Ball has spoken.
Just saying.
If we didn't have Blaine on these calls, I don't know
No.
what there'd be.
It'd be
Any
so
point in-
boring, dude.
What's funny is that he's the most professional, credentialed person of all of us. Most schooling, I'm sure. Most accolades.
So is that a win, Blaine?
Oh, dude. Yes, definitely.
As he tosses another worm in his mouth.
Could you imagine if you had people that didn't guess? Like, like one of these people on the stream is a lawyer. One of them owns like 6 businesses. Like nobody would guess who's who on here. Who's like the
know.
no chance in the
Where are our
world.
names? Where are our names?
I don't know. Why do you care so
What the
much? You're
heck?
obsessed with the stupid names. I'm gonna boot you every time you say "Where is my name?"
It's
Because
not
I
even a
don't.
real Magic 8 Ball.
That
This is called the original Magic 8 Ball.
the guy with the white and green hoodie that he always wears on every single one of these streams. I don't know his name. I want names on the screen so we know who that is.
The white and green hoodie.
Roadhouse.
I think it's Roadhouse.
That's
His name's
Roadhouse over
Dalton.
there.
I think the name is Dalton.
Dalton.
So wait, Ryan, have you actually never seen Roadhouse? Like that's not a joke.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
No, I'm
Clayton's
just
looking for
literally-
his gun right
it's
now. He's looking for his
completely
gun. He can't figure out which
It's
corner he's headed
completely
in.
my fault.
I
just don't understand how in your course of events. I remember my dad being like 12 and be like, "Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna watch Roadhouse and then mow the lawn, and
Yep.
then that in that order."
Yeah.
Nobody has uttered the words "Roadhouse" in my life until this stream, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing.
He rips
Until
the
this
man's
stream,
throat out, Ryan.
For
You can't live
For
like
all
that.
the
You
talk
can't eat.
about
You're
this
gonna
being a
starve.
great American classic, I don't remember ever hearing about Roadhouse. I've literally read top 100 movies of all time just so I can make sure I've seen them all. Guess what movie was never on that list? One time, Roadhouse. Never
Well,
once. I've read 75 top 100 lists. Roadhouse never made it once.
Well,
I'm
you're
just
reading
saying.
them off of commie sites, is all I'm saying.
There is zero chance
He-
prior to
he
our
even
draft
went
stream that I
through-
could have
he
told you
even
who
went
was
through
in Roadhouse.
Top 5 Patrick Swayze films. He
Yeah,
even
but-
went through that list.
Come on.
Not on. No Roadhouse.
He's going to. He's getting his gun.
I
You know what he's doing.
looked at top 20 Patrick Swayze movies and it wasn't on there. It must be 21.
It's just missed it.
We're about to find out if Clayton has a grenade launcher or not.
Oh, great. Yeah, he upgraded.
And come back with a switchblade.
Oh, if he's not taking out his aggression on someone in his house, where
While
is he
we're-
coming
Oh,
back?
no.
You just
Come
hear
back,
the dog.
Clayton.
I'm sorry, that's a joke. All right, week
There it
16.
is.
Here we go. Now, here we go.
brought
Oh, he's
three
got
for
3
this
of them.
You need to duct tape those guns together, dude.
That is,
Hey,
That's efficient.
Clayton has never taken a gun safety course in his life.
Hold on, can we
His
quote the
finger is
lawyer
on
that
all
says
3
you need to
triggers
duct
at
tape
once?
all
Gun
3 of
safety
those
course,
together?
that's for them liberals.
well,
Safety is off always.
all I know is you asked, was Clayton taking his aggression out on somebody in the house? No, I did not lock the baby formula in the car. Okay, it's fine.
Oh,
I just-
Lord.
It's just great because Clayton's response to that whole thing was, they must have different rules than we got. like, it was just
Clearly there was a
that happens all the
misunderstanding.
time. That was all the time. What are you talking?
That's
What's the
just what we
problem?
do here.
I
That's
don't know.
called discipline.
There's something different. if you call the law because somebody locked baby formula in the
Law.
car,
I love
you're
it.
probably going to get a ticket. You're going to get a
Now-
citation for
Now,
wasting the house.
Clayton. The other thing is a little bit of context within how things are going right now in the world. There's like a nationwide baby formula shortage. Like you can't get it anywhere right now. So
It's
like
true.
I'm guessing this is like some stuff she had just like gone all over town and assembled, and he was like, "Give me that," and threw it in the car and threw her wallet in the car, and they were in some sort of.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not. I'm really about to.
No,
lose
this
my
is
mind.
legit. There legitimately is a
No,
nation-
like
This is the first
Well,
time he's
for-
been
if you-
serious
if-
on the whole stream. Just
if
for
you're
context.
rich, like that shouldn't be such a bargaining chip. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah.
being like, I don't
Right.
know.
Well, and that's what I mean
It
is
just-
like, but the problem is like that's he's doing it to his baby mama. That's the problem. Is,
Wait,
like
here's the problem. Like I never remember anybody mentioning baby formula when I was a kid. Like we were eating fried taters
titties.
and green beans
Just
coming out the womb.
Alligators.
Like, hog
Blaine's getting a
maws.
10-second timeout for saying a bad word on the stream.
I don't know. I don't get it, man. Formula, and there really is a formula shortage. This is serious.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is
Like,
crazy. We got to
Especially, yeah, it is. It's bad actually.
JJ's got
Wow,
a ton. I don't know
JJ
what
is
you're talking
quick.
about.
Here's,
He's
JJ
loaded up,
is
man.
here's the other thing.
Fast.
That's
here's
why
the
there's
other
a
thing.
shortage. JJ's
Was
hoarding it all.
Was Clayton like reminiscing on his memories of what he ate in his childhood? And he's like, I don't remember eating formula. I had green beans. We had
Taters.
sloppy joes. We had Happy Meals. I don't remember eating formula one time. So I don't know
Is
what
that
the
what
big
you
deal
think
is.
people in the South eat? Is
He was mowing McRibs at 4 months
it'd
old.
be more like catfish bites and collard greens and
Mama's mac and
pig's feet.
cheese.
I do not recollect
Look
what
at-
I ate when I was a baby. I'm just saying, growing up in Kentucky, I never heard anybody even mention baby formula. But I'll tell you right now, what I do remember. This is what I do remember right here, though. Plenty of this in my life, right here. Clay Walker.
There's-
I'm telling you right now.
oh,
Man, if I listened to country music, I might understand your reference, country boy. Possum pie.
possum pie.
That's what you remember, Clayton.
It's like in the Water Boy when she's like, "What are we eating for dessert?" and it goes, "Zzz, squirrel."
Possum pie. Where did everybody go? Is it just me and you now, Jacob?
Probably. Yeah.
Chris says hi. Hi, Chris. How you doing, man?
What's up, Chris?
JJ, were you trying to catch me eating a gummy worm?
Oh,
We
man.
caught you.
Oh, there. No, this was when you were starting to rant and get upset a few minutes ago.
Oh,
I don't even remember what you were ranting about anymore.
Are going down.
Donald knows what's up.
The coal mining wars.
Cheat,
Grew
boy.
up in the coal mining wars.
Donald's been here through the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I appreciate that.
You what you eat. You love who you love. No
It's
judgment.
It's the same 10 guys every time watching the stream. They all get the jokes. They all know.
Oh God.
Could
Are
you
we at
imagine?
week 16 yet, or what are we
Could
doing?
you imagine there's a coal mining war going on? It's like, where's the baby formula?
You'd never see it. It'd be underground.
I'll show you
No, video. Here you go.
Oh,
formula
look at.
shortage.
Hold on. Wait a minute, JJ. That's great.
We didn't
That's-
have formula in my day.
He locked my baby formula in the saddlebag of my horse.
Look at JJ.
Go
This
Packers
is my
and
contribution.
Bears?
Since we don't talk about
Lord.
football anymore, I'm not an expert on anything that we're saying, so this is the only way I can
I
contribute.
tried to
Hang
steer
on
it
a second.
back. I think we're trying to talk
Hello
about week
from Indiana,
16.
Go
Solid
Packers
background, I
and
know that.
Bears.
We got Clayton. Clayton was the one guy keeping this stream intact, and then we brought up Roadhouse, and we haven't been
Yeah.
back since.
Clayton's like, "No, you got to be kidding me right now."
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Talking about the human right to baby
Who's up
formula,
next?
and Clayton lost it.
At Miami Dolphins.
At Miami
Miami
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Let's go.
All right, let's go to the
Jeez.
Dolphins.
Well,
here.
can't play in Florida, dude.
This is
We
yeah,
can't-
exactly.
We can't
This is
outrun
one-
Tua's arm.
This is one that I actually
Jay
said
has clearly
earlier.
not tuned in for a while because we haven't been talking about the Packers in 20 minutes.
He's lying when he says he's been listening.
He's like, "I'm having a great
Caught you
time, guys.
lying.
I got you guys muted. You guys look like you're having a great time."
We
Couch
are
it.
muted because the baby and wife are in bed right now. He doesn't want to wake him up, so
Oh,
he's just
that's
assuming
true.
we're talking
That's
about
true.
the Packers.
Got
'Cause
him.
we've got Packers logos behind us.
Well, he's watching us what he presumes talk Packers.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Dolphins. Are we going to talk about the Dolphins, or are we going to waste more
Well,
time here? fellas?
Well, we're gonna.
My goodness,
Sorry,
Well,
Dad.
unbelievable.
You want me to turn his car around?
Oh, turn the horse around. We're going
The
back.
guy that just exposed 3 weapons is trying to hurt everyone. Come on, guys. Stop it now. Stop
5
it.
seconds ago, he's talking about the coal wars, and now he's scolding us for being
Clayton.
off topic.
Clayton's gonna turn this minecart around.
All right, Clayton, go.
He's like, I will start pumping it the wrong way.
Oh, they're snorting.
I didn't. Definitely not.
All right, Dolphins. Back to the
Dolphins
Dolphins.
got all them guys. How about
PFF.
that?
Yeah, PFF last year overall 22nd, offense 27th, defense 6th, special teams 17th. Obviously, they added the cheetah, right? But if you guys have seen the video on Twitter, I'm crying from laughing. If you guys seen the video on Twitter, Tua
Cheetah's too fast.
might as well punt that ball out there. That
That was the dumbest thing you could do.
Call for it.
who
Who
approved?
posted it?
Who on the social media team said that's the one? Post it.
Well, okay.
Well, that was the
For-
best one they had all day. They were out there taking video. Like, come on, give me one. Like, all right,
That's
just take
it.
that
That'll
one.
be it.
Yeah,
This
we
was
got no
was
choice,
like
man.
when they took the Vikings took a video of Kirk Cousins in the preseason, just
Yeah.
like air mailing like the wobbliest ball in the world, and they were
That's
like,
right.
"All right, duet yourselves catching this," and everybody all made the same videos, like 15,000 versions of the same video of like sails over your head.
Well, and they were trying to be slick too with it because they called it a rocket ball, but then they put it in slow motion when he threw it to be like, trust me, it's real
Yeah.
fast. But we're doing slow mo for effect.
Unbelievable. All right, what do you think, JJ? Is that a win or a loss, man?
Against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
End of the year. We don't care.
My-
Think about that.
Yeah. So I think simultaneously the Dolphins are not going to be a relevant team this year. And I think there's a decent chance we lose this game. I think the Florida thing has a little bit of weight to it. I think it's a game that we're probably going to overlook. I think they have just enough talent in enough different places that they could jump up and bite us. Also, I think
They take one from the Patriots a lot.
they split with the Patriots every single year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually in Miami, but a couple of years ago, 2019. 2019. That was the year. They lost early on in the year in Miami to the Patriots. And I said, well, guess they're winning at Foxborough because every single year they get one.
Yeah, for sure. And you got what, Mike McDaniel's coming in, right? So brand new head coach, brand new scheme. That's going to set them back a touch. I picked this as a loss, but like I said, it was just picking on the fly without really looking into the games too much. Second thought, I don't know, man. With the new coaching staff, I think the Packers going to take care of business. What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know. I'm way out on the Dolphins. There's a lot of hype about them having a real good defense and a real good. I mean, you read the stats. They're not impressive. Xavier Howard is massively overrated. I don't know what they do well. They have wide receivers that Tua can't throw to. Otherwise, what do they have? They got Javon Holland and Wilkins on the defensive line. I mean, the offensive line isn't great. The pass rushers aren't great. The linebackers aren't great. The corners aren't that good. The quarterback, the most important piece, is kind of garbage. He ranked 25th last year. So I don't get it. They're one of those teams that everybody's like, oh man, they're so good, and they got this elite defense. Like, I don't think they do though. I don't think they're good at anything. I don't know what you guys are. Plus,
it's one of those delayed things where they had a really good defense like 2 years ago, and people have not caught up yet. To
they
the fact
don't
that,
let it go.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, this is also a big controversy team. They've got a ton of scandals going on. They've got their coach that they just fired and everything else that's going on with the Tom Brady stuff and all that. I mean, they're a massively distracted team with a goofball coach that everybody loves because he's quirky, but he's kind of an idiot too. So I don't know. I don't like anything about the Dolphins, and I'm really just not scared of the Dolphins.
All right,
yeah.
Jake.
If Ray Finkel would have done laces out, then Dolphins would be great. But no, honestly, kind of like JJ said, I'm a little. Who's the weird, crazy dude that they hired as their offensive coordinator that people think is like the most intrinsic weird? Michael something?
No, I think you're talking about the head coach.
Yeah, that's the head coach.
Yeah, the head coach.
The guy that looks like he has no business ever running or being a part of a football team in any way.
He's like Seth Green's character in the Italian.
You just said
Job.
Seth Green, and I said, "Yep, that's it."
Exactly. Yeah.
Seth
Doesn't
Green's
matter
character
in
in the
character
Italian
and
Job,
whatever. It's
any
Seth,
movie. Yeah.
the
Seth
real
Green.
Napster. That's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. The guy seems like he's all like, I'm so weirdly like smart, and I don't know, dude.
Right.
Like maybe you're just.
Yeah, he didn't have a good
Like-
beard, man. Come on.
Well, that's what I'm
know.
saying. Like everybody's acting like it's going to be great because he gives kind of weird, funny answers in press conferences. Like, what does that have to do with anything? The guy's he's a dork, and you guys love him because he's a dork, and that's not impressive to me. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I want to know Blaine's take on this game. Miami Dolphins, dork at head coach.
Our coach
It's the
is
perfect question for Blaine.
Our coach is way hotter than their coach. So like
That is
isn't
the
even a
best
question.
plain answer of all time.
I got to get an image of this guy.
Super
real quick.
hot. He's a super hot guy.
Aw.
That's it. That's all you get.
Hold on, we're gonna pull this guy up real quick. Give me just a second. Let's look at this cat.
I guess that's all he's got.
What the heck? Yeah, that is a strange looking dude, man.
He looks like he's a mad scientist that like hasn't gotten to his old age stage. You know how like every mad scientist has like the old Back to the Future hair? He's like before you got old. He's just that mad scientist.
He looks like JJ Watt's fat brother.
TJ
What are
Watt.
you looking at?
Look at it right here. Look at this guy. Like he looks like he looks like someone who is intelligent enough to be a mad scientist, but he got hooked on meth.
I was
Cooking.
gonna say that's the origin story for every serial killer of all time. Like right there.
Look at that dude.
I like keeping things in jars. It's like, all right, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Coming to Packernet podcast for the most in depth.
They got the what's his name? The dude that was in Ghostbusters, and he was like the nerdy neighbor dude, and he's also
What was his name? Little
Oh
Giant.
yeah, that
Yeah,
guy. Yeah,
Little
Little
Giants.
Giants guy.
Oh yeah.
Rick Moranis.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Love
they got Rick
Moranis.
Moranis, and
That is
we
Rick
got
Moranis when
Ryan
he's young.
Reynolds.
Yep, nailed it.
What
Nailed
happened
it.
to
what I
Rick
mean?
Moranis?
Dude,
He
that's
got
actually
punched in the face on the street a while
That's
ago.
spot on.
Apparently, Rick Moranis
By
just
you?
went away from acting to spend time with his kids. Is like the whole thing. He just
Yeah.
decided
Right.
he wanted to spend his
He's a
his
single
days
dad.
with his kids.
Yeah,
and
he,
he's
like,
like,
made a
Remember when
bunch
I
of
watched
money.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? That changed me for a couple of
Dude,
years.
it
I
did.
thought
It did.
that's a great movie.
ants
dope.
are your friends. So
Yeah, dude. Rick Moranis died. What do you?
that's a big hoax thing. They always say that Rick Moranis dies every year.
Yeah,
He's still
I saw him get punched in the face by a random person and by an
I
ATM.
did see that. Yeah.
but-
Yeah,
Who
yeah, that
wants
was
to
the thing.
punch
dude,
Rick
and he looks like
Moranis?
that dude. So like, it was like, bro.
Who wakes up
That's
and they're like, you
crazy.
know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna find Rick Moranis. I'm gonna give him a
I'm gonna
piece of my mind.
blast him right in the face. Be like, did you
Come on.
mug him? No, dude. I just
Just slapped him.
just
Schmucked
put
him.
one right on there.
All right.
I don't know.
You
I don't know what.
an ATM.
I don't know what Michael's doing, man. But I respect it.
I feel is that wrong? Please tell me that's wrong, because if I'd feel horrible.
No, but anyway,
Oh, if we're
Rick
all laughing
Moranis-
and that actually, like, it happened like
did
an
not-
hour ago.
I googled it before. I just looked it up.
Vikings members, Rick Moranis dead at 68.
Clayton, what were you doing earlier today in front of the ATM to be specific?
We got like
You
a
just see him
taxi
cross off his
scenario.
face like on a list.
So we got the Minnesota Vikings next here. We got the Vikings.
Oh,
This is a
man.
long-
Players,
I gotta
actors who
Google
were
it now.
not
I'm
in
getting nervous.
Roadhouse.
I
Actors
looked
who
it
are
up.
not
It's
in Roadhouse.
fine.
I'm just saying, did you sort by most recent articles or anything?
I saw Wiki. It,
wanna
it would
make
be
sure.
on
I
Wikipedia.
think we all should
It's
stop.
not on Wikipedia.
Should we change the GoFundMe to find Rick Moranis?
I'm just saying.
You know
Rick
what? Screw
Moranis
that guy with the dog.
versus
Let's get Rick Moranis found.
Bing it. Hang
It's 'cause
on.
you're
Let me
using Google. You got to
let
get
me-
on Bing.
Let me ask Jeeves real quick.
Yeah, right.
Ask Jeeves. What was that comedy bit? It's like it was a website that asked Google to do what you wanted to do for him.
Oh, did I send you one of those, Ryan? Like it was the "Let me Google that for you." It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
website called
Yeah.
"Let me Google that for you."
I use that all the time because people ask me the laziest questions on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah. You're my friend Jesse. JJ is what it is. My friend Jesse.
That's my
does
middle
that.
name.
And anytime I ask him anything, he just let me Google that for you, and I'm like, "Can you just know things? Can you shut up?"
This is why we're friends.
Yeah, can't I just ask you stuff? And he's like, "You could Google it." And I'm like, "I guess we just don't have to ever communicate with anyone ever again." Cool.
To be
Party.
fair, I really only do that
My
with
only
like
friend.
people on Twitter.
My
With my
only
actual
friend.
friends, I want to sound smart, so I'm like, well, actually, yeah, here's the answer.
Right. So yeah, look at
After you
look at
Google
that
it.
background. Look at that stud. Does that stud lose to Rick Moranis?
Yeah,
No.
but can you pull up Matt LaFleur while he's at the in the Falcons? He looks like
There is the whole
Revenge
Little
of the
Giants
Nerds.
thing, though, man.
I mean, it's
Huh?
There is the whole Little Giants thing that makes me nervous with Rick Moranis, you know?
Oh yeah, that's true. He was a
And you know, our coach does look like he could be his older brother, like the older, more attractive brother, like in, you know, Little Giants.
Mm.
Just saying.
you're talking
Connect the
about
dots, man.
Bud, or what's his name? Bud, yeah, Bud.
Al.
No, Al Bundy was
Yeah.
his name, but it's not his real name.
Not
On the-
Bud.
on the-
In the
the
show,
book.
his name was something like
Bud. It's Bud.
No, not the show. I'm talking about the Little Giants movie.
Al.
All y'all need to back up.
JJ.
I just remember he cruises up and his license plate says Heisman. And I remember thinking like the
I'm gonna
Heisman
keep
Trophy
doing
winner,
it.
all he can do is muster to coach a little league team and his while
Oh,
he
yeah, you're
has
thinking
a,
of Ted
a,
Bundy,
a
dude.
car dealership. Like that's the peak. It was O'Shea car
Right.
dealerships. And then the best
Got
player
it.
on their team was his daughter,
Yep.
who could just schmuck kids.
We've got 2 games left, guys. Just 2.
She's hot to trot, but she's
You
still
got
got a
this.
squad. I'm just saying.
Was she?
Hot hands.
Was his daughter like Dominican or something?
Yeah. No explanation of that whatsoever.
What movie was this?
Kevin and
Little
Danny
Giants,
O'Shea.
bro. John Madden,
Kevin-
Emmett Smith, Bruce Smith,
Not-
all of them making a cameo.
Not Bud. It was Kevin.
Kevin
O'Shea was Ed O'Neill.
O'Shea, Ed O'Neill, who still looked the exact same like 25 years ago as he does now.
Yep.
All right, man.
All right.
Fair enough. All right. We think we solved it.
Detroit Lions. We'll get the Vikings and Detroit Lions where we're wrapping up here.
You're thinking
So-
of Ted Bundy.
I can't do this anymore, Ryan. I'm done, dude. I can't.
Yeah, Beard, you're an idiot.
Ted Bundy.
No. You're thinking of Ted.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was a killer with the ladies.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. You're right.
That's
I got
what I meant.
confused.
He is man, is what I meant. Not Heisman.
All right. Well, do they wrap up the season with a couple wins there against the Vikings?
Yeah, screw it. Just
Yes.
2 wins, whatever. Everybody have a good night. Everybody.
Yeah, right.
Win.
Win. We'd already
Win.
talked about Vikings
All
in
right.
Detroit.
I think we did it.
All right, man. That was a thing. I don't know what that was, but that was a thing.
Yeah, so
We
you
like
guys
Ed
are coming
O'Neill
to-
should sponsor this podcast,
Right.
I feel like every time Ryan invites me, I'm like, I don't know.
He's
Probably come. It'll be a good time.
So you guys are coming to the game at Detroit this year, right? Because it's close to
No.
Um,
God, no.
well, first off, I'm sorry for you. Second
Why
off,
would I ever?
wasn't it Beard that said you have to wear a paper bag to get through that city?
Or you just get murdered just on your way
No.
to the stadium. Just,
Those are your
Right.
choices. Wear a paper bag or get murdered.
This is not a joke. If you guys look up, you can buy like semi-acre properties in Detroit for like less than you would pay for a meal. Like it's really bad.
Meal.
Look
I mean,
it
like
up,
a good
Bing it.
meal, but like
Bing
a
it,
high-end
it's true.
meal.
Dear Jeeves.
Come on, get on that, Bing boy.
Kid Rock, I think, is basically like the largest landowner in Detroit, or him and Eminem. So
Hang on. I'm over here on Alta Vista and I don't see anything about this.
it's the one time he'll fact check me. Actually, Eminem only owns 12% of Detroit.
Blaine, you got to get on Bing if you really
All
want.
right, is this the way?
I don't-
How do we sign off?
I don't know. I'm just gonna click end stream, and that'll be the end of that. How's that?
Right,
It's gonna
like,
be
I'm
a
not-
very abrupt
I'm
end,
not-
but
I'm not good with goodbyes, so
I don't know.
everyone-
We're gonna do an Irish goodbye here, everybody.
We have 6 viewers at this point.
There's a